We got applause. It's been exactly 1 week since I've been live from the studio. Hey, what's up, dudes? Johnny Bean here. This is exclusively Van Halen, the Van Halen show on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. You guys, I know it says magazine giveaway, but hey, we'll give away a book tonight. We've got some great guys with a book that they wrote. We'll be talking to them. Van Halen news, anything that happened this week we can talk about. And yeah, so make sure to participate in the live chat and join us. Okay, we're live on Facebook. There we go. All right, this is Johnny Bean TV for what is January 30th, 2024. All right, here we go.
Hey, this is Michael Anthony right here, and you are watching exclusively Van Halen on the Johnny Bean TV. Keep it there. Woo! See ya!
Yo, what's up, dudes? We're back. Back from the NAMM show where I streamed something like a total of like, I don't know, 72 hours. I'm still exhausted, you guys. I don't know if you saw my shoulder. I have like bruises from my backpack. It's crazy. But you guys, welcome. We have a lot of new people here. So I just want to say welcome, you guys. We got something like 300 new people over the past few days. You guys are awesome.
We hit that 12,000 mark?
Not yet. We're looking to hit 12,000 YouTube subscribers pretty soon. But and then when we hit 20,000, we'll be giving something away.
Oh, nice.
On YouTube. So yeah. So hey, let's do some introductions and then let's say hello to our channel members. All right, you're gonna have to remind me again of your names. Jim
Surger.
Mm-hmm. Jim Surger is here.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Johnny.
You're welcome. And Chris.
Put a B on.
Burger.
Yep,
that's it. Drop the S and put a B. Burger.
Oh, good.
Hey,
Surger and Burger.
Thanks for having me on, Johnny. There we go.
Surger and Burger in the mornings. You guys need to make a show.
That's right.
It's true.
You guys should make your own show, and actually, if you do make your own show, see, this is where the promotions come in. If you do your own show, use StreamYard. That's what we're using here. It's very easy to use. Is it Chris? Was it Chris?
Yes.
It was one of you guys. I was saying, hey, we use StreamYard when we do this stuff, and one of you was like, hey, this is amazing. This is like, because you guys have done a bunch of these interview things already. This is definitely the easiest thing to use.
Oh,
and
100%.
StreamYard is not paying me to say that yet.
Right.
Yet.
I like it.
StreamYard doesn't even like me, so.
Yeah, they hate him.
I had a hard time getting on, but we resolved it quickly.
Cool. Well, hey, you guys, we're gonna hang out tonight, and we're gonna talk about Jim and Chris. They have a new book here called Jump, 40th anniversary of attending the 1984 Van Halen concert.
Absolutely.
Where can you buy that at?
Yes, sir. You can get it on Amazon, Target.com, Walmart, anywhere books are sold nationwide, worldwide. So anywhere. Okay. Good question, Ron. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. And I think they'll be giving one away tonight, too.
Yes.
Wait, that should be applause, not laughter. Hang on. It's been a week since I've done one of these shows. There we go.
You know what? You should carry that when you go to NAMM and say, hey, channel ID. And they do the clapping.
Right.
I took this with me, but I never used it this year.
Oh.
It was in my bag, but actually, as I was leaving my hotel, I had to repack my bag, and it kept going off. The burp everywhere I would walk, the burp kept happening.
Oh no!
So
PSA loved it, huh?
it's pretty weird.
Can you get that off of Amazon too when you're ordering the book? Is that where we can get one of those?
One of these?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like $18 on Amazon.
The sound machine.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been using these on my show for something like 6 years, 7 years, something like that. They're great.
That's great.
He was going to retire it, but
I was actually gonna retire this, but then I had a guest, and we were talking on the phone one time after he'd been on the show, and he's like, Johnny, that little sound machine that you use, he's like, I love that. He's like, I love that. You have to keep using that. It's awesome. It reminds me of when I was a kid watching TV, in like the 50s. I guess there was some show in the 50s where they had a bunch of weird noises and stuff. So he told me to keep using this, and so
howdy doody.
So we use it.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like it. Nothing beats
Awesome.
sound effects.
Yeah. Oh, well, that reminds me. Yeah, because this actually is a podcast. You can listen. Well, you can actually watch these shows, but you can listen to them on Spotify. You can watch. You can listen. You can listen to these shows on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. Wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to these episodes. But hey, let's say hello to the top tier of channel members here on Johnny Bean YouTube channel. Channel membership is a great way you can help support the channel and support these shows. And the top tier are the executive producers. They are currently Sherman Callahan, Michael B. Live, CC, Nova 9, Michael Smith, Music Therapy Laz, who's on his way back up from the LA from the NAMM show. Arhabs, Warlag, Patty Dill, Fairfield Guitar Co., Majestic PB and J Cat, Guitar Man 45, and Janice Lala, the intern.
Yes.
Thank you, Janice, for all your help while I was out on the road.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
All the tweet. Well, she's not here.
No, not yet.
She's still out there.
Yeah.
Zach.
It's gotten to the point where I think I need it like an actual intern, like in real life. These shows are just getting so busy and crazy and look at this. We got 51 people watching us already. We're just a few minutes into this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You guys are awesome.
awesome.
Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. We got 16 thumbs ups. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. And let's see. Let's do a couple other promotions really quickly. We're live on Facebook right now. Johnny Bean personal page. You can help support using Facebook Stars. We're also live in the exclusively Van Halen group. I know it says 62.3 thousand members. There's actually like 63,000 members in there now. We got to change that. We're live in the EVH Gear Fans Live group, EVH Gear Fans Live page, Johnny Bean TV group. We are live. We are live on Twitch, which is awesome. And here on YouTube, if you would like to help support the channel and do some pretty cool things while we are live, these lights you can magically change in real time during the live show. And the way you do that is with Super Chats. If I can find that. There we go. Super Chat. It's a way you can help support the channel and support these shows. So if you want to make sure we see your question or comment, a Super Chat will definitely highlight it. It'll pin it to the top of the chat. It'll change the lights. That'll wake me up. Oh, Janice. Janice is here. Janice the intern is here. I do see her in the chat. See, we got new stuff. We got NAMM show bag there, pretty cool. I was at this creator party on I think it was the Friday down in Anaheim. Was hanging out with a bunch of YouTuber people and had a great time.
Good.
But for some reason my phone didn't work while I was in there, so I couldn't share anything. Nobody will believe me. I was there.
Did you work for
You
Kramer?
got the tickets stuff.
Kramer wasn't there this year, unfortunately.
No, I mean, but did you work for Kramer? I mean, come on.
No,
Where's the
not
photos?
yet. Not yet.
Right.
Not yet. But let's say hello to some people here. We have a lot of people in the chat here. Let's see. Where's everybody watching from tonight? Let us know. You guys know I'm in Santa Cruz, California. Let's see. Ron, where are you from?
Shady Side, Ohio.
Shady
Right.
Side, Ohio. There you go. Right.
Are all of you from Ohio?
Bingo. We're all here from Ohio.
We're all in Ohio. Yeah,
That's right. Bingo.
we're just
The Buckeye
a
State,
little
huh?
southwest of Ron.
Right. That's right. That's awesome.
Wow, this is cool.
All Ohioan. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah, but see, they can cross the river right in Kentucky. I crossed the river into West Virginia.
That's correct.
Mhm.
You are right.
That's right.
You are right. You're over there by the Mothman, then, aren't you?
I'm up from that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm right by Wheeling, West Virginia, which
All
I'm
right, I know where
I'm
you are.
50 minutes away from Pittsburgh.
Wow.
So-
That's good. Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Sophie is from Cincinnati.
Hey, Sophie. All right.
Right on. Janice, Roberta, Connecticut, USA. Sophie
Liverpool.
from Cincinnati.
Oh,
Is Sophie related
I know
to somebody
Sophie.
in here?
Definitely me. Definitely. That's my daughter. Hey,
Oh, right.
thanks for
Awesome.
watching, Soph.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. Scott is here from Edmonton. Dakota is from Independence, Missouri. Not that
Nice.
far from Kansas City. The Axe is from Whitby. Is that Canada?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Canada. Skyprop is in Pittsburgh. Simon is watching from the UK. England.
Cheerio.
Nice.
Nice.
Right on. Adam is in Illinois. Thimker is from San Jose. That's my area.
Right.
Right on. There's me. I'm in Santa Cruz.
All right.
Here we are.
Melbourne,
Let's see.
Australia.
Tony from Toronto. Right on, you guys. Great to see you guys. Garguts. I'm from Johnny's Chicken Coop. I have chickens. I actually have chickens.
Free
but,
range?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They're great. They're,
Bring them on.
They're awesome. Every once in a while, they are on the show. Let's see.
Perfect.
Bino is from Australia.
Melbourne.
Right on,
wow.
dudes. G. Butchnoff. Hey, man, we were hanging out the NAMM show. By the way, you guys, maybe, I don't know, tomorrow, sometime this week. If not, sometime, this week. Our next scheduled show is this Friday. We usually talk guitars on Fridays. Maybe we'll do a NAMM show recap
Dude, that'd be sweet.
this
Yeah.
Friday,
That'd be great.
where if I can remember anything, we will talk about it, because it's just a huge blur to me.
Janice, please send Johnny a tweet telling him to remember Nam for Friday.
Yeah. It was
Perfect.
It was wild. Jim, Chris, have you guys been to the NAMM show? You ever been?
No,
there?
I have not. I haven't. I mean, I got wind of it last week when you were there, and then Chris and I talked about it, and then Todd and I talked about it, and then a couple other guys talked about it, and we're like, we got to go out there next year. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
To go out there.
100%. Yeah, we're definitely going out there next year.
Absolutely. That'd be
Right
amazing.
on.
out there. Mhm.
Right on.
Convention
Simon.
center.
Yeah, I was exhausted, man, because I was there. Well, I was there longer than what you guys saw. I think I
Okay.
streamed one day for 4 hours, the next day for 4.5 hours, the next day for 6 hours, the next day for 5 hours.
How many steps did you get in?
I have no idea.
29
This
miles.
shirt was a small when I left.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
I'll be here all week.
I'll be here all week.
Literally, this is my house.
But that's great, though. That's a small. That's funny.
Oh my gosh. By the way, last thing, you guys, if you see somebody named Nightbot in the chat, spamming the chat like crazy, that is me. But they've gone kind of nuts. They're posting way more than they normally should. I'm trying to figure out why that is. So I'm gonna have to reset them at some point. But any link that Nightbot is giving you in the chat, you can trust those links. You can trust those links. Some of them are affiliate links. Some of them are previous videos on the channel here. We have over 4,000 videos on the channel here. You guys. You can literally go back and see 18 years of my life. You know, I was 3 when I started this channel. If you want to see me in diapers, well, you don't. The axe. Did we ever find Wolfgang? No. Somebody had told us that Wolfgang was there at the NAMM show. And then we went looking around, and then we ran into some people who would know, and then we asked some people who would know, and they got back to us saying no, he wasn't there. So we did not find him. Although we did find his guitar player, John, from Mammoth. We actually ran into him a few times.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool. Have you guys seen Mammoth? Have you seen
We
them on tour?
have. We have. So Chris and I drove from, we took off from Cincinnati back in early November and went up to Columbus, Ohio. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Almost 40 years to the day that we saw his dad perform. And then he goes up to Columbus, Ohio, and we're like, we're there. And we went up there. Just unbelievable. What a set. Blew us away. Very, very talented. So what a great experience that was. And then he's coming back to Cincinnati on March 1st. And then he's coming back to Cincinnati in August because he's going to open up for the Foo Fighters here at Great American Ballpark for the Reds.
Oh,
and
cool.
then Michael Anthony and Sammy are going to be here in the same month. So this place is going to be a lot of Van Halen rocking in the Ohio River industry.
Man.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, Johnny's never been to Ohio yet, ever.
That's okay. As long as he flies over it, that counts, okay? Fly over it, you're all right. Okay?
I might have one time.
That's right. See? That counts.
It's quite possible.
That's
Although
right.
I do talk to
Johnny,
Ron every other day, and he's in Ohio. So
that counts too.
But see, as much as Mammoth's going to be here, you need to come to Ohio this year.
Right.
That's what I was saying. Come on. Come be our guest. You and Ron come down to Cincinnati. We'll set you up with some Cincinnati chili, some ribs, some Grater's ice cream.
He don't know nothing he don't know nothing about Skyline chili.
Oh man!
Oh,
I don't know nothing about Skyline chili.
It's almost as good
It's
as
an
the
acquired
walking
taste.
tacos in Venice. You know.
Well, I'm hungry.
Well, never mind. Like he didn't know anything about the Permane Brothers sandwich either. So.
Oh, jeez. I'll tell you what. The first time I had one of those, Ron, I had fried bologna with French fries and coleslaw on it, and it was the greatest thing. I felt one of my arteries start closing up while I was eating it and everything.
Left ventricle.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, exactly.
But it's worth it.
Oh,
100%. 100%.
That's
wow.
too funny.
Let's see. Are you guys starting already? Nick says Skyline is way overrated.
You know what? I agree with you, Nick. I'm a Gold Star fan here in Cincinnati. You know, that's the age-long debate and everything. So I'm a Gold Star fan, not Skyline.
Right. Back and forth,
right.
back and forth.
It's like splitting in the middle of town, right?
Exactly. It's like east side versus west side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yeah, Skyline's good.
Oh, we don't want to get into that kind of war, do we?
No.
Not yet.
Like Grater's ice cream's good though.
But
yeah, that's true.
You like pasta, Johnny?
Sometimes, yeah.
Spaghetti with chili on it.
Put some
That
cheese
sounds
on
really.
it.
Yeah, and
That
it's
sounds
And you
pretty
put
good.
some beans on it.
Oh, 3
Yeah.
pounds
And you put
of
some
salt.
onions on
we're
it.
not talking spaghetti sauce. We're talking chili on.
Right.
That
That's
sounds
the
pretty
kind of
good.
chili. That's the kind of chili that's made at those places.
Oh, and 2 pounds of cheese on top of that. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Right.
I'm full already just hearing about it.
I know.
Then grab yourself a Permane's sandwich with Angus burger.
Right.
Oh, yep. Exactly.
They got a new
And then
one
you
now,
finish
the Big Boss, which is great.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
Nick, are you from Ohio as well? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Not a fan of soggy
Fries
fries
on
on a
his
sandwich?
Okay, Nick, Spaghetti Warehouse.
What's wrong with soggy
there you
sandwiches? Extra
Only-
sog. Remember?
You know,
Extra sog.
I've never had a Permane sandwich that was soggy, ever.
Mhm.
I'm right there with you.
Really?
I have had a Jersey Mike's that was, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's and Firehouse one was soggy.
Yeah. Just eat it quick.
God.
Suck it up.
Oh, he's from Philly. Okay, so he's
Oh,
got the
so
Philly
that's
cheesesteak
cheesesteak all over. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There
That's
you
why.
go.
I definitely can't disagree with Nick on that one. I had my first one last year, went downtown. My buddy who's from Philly took me down for the cheesesteak. Oh my gosh. That was one of the greatest sandwiches I've ever had. I've never seen, it was pouring down raining and people were waiting in line outside in the rain at 2:00 in the afternoon to get a cheesesteak. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. But it was the greatest thing I've ever eaten. So definitely agree with you there,
So
Nick.
he's going to be biased on anything but that. So
Okay.
We have cheesesteaks. You guys, welcome to Cheesesteak Chat Tuesdays. We talk all things cheesesteaks.
That's right.
and we
Yeah.
we change it from tonight is Tuesday.
Yeah, all our ears are ringing. Well, speaking of that, are your guys' ears ringing? We should probably get into this. Are your guys' ears still ringing
Yeah.
from when you guys saw Van Halen in 1984? What's the
Gosh.
story? What's the story with this book?
You take it, Chris. I'll follow your lead.
No, you started out because you've got the foundation of how you started the book and everything, and then
His name is
start
bigger
jumping in
up
with
here.
everything else. I know exactly.
here's the catch.
Exactly.
That's right. Here's
Well, the
catch.
thing is, we needed Jim to write the book because when I was in college, I spent more time in the writing workshop than I did anything else. So definitely not a writer. I could tell stories. So thank God Jim has the author in him to be able to write the book and translate what I said down in the paper.
You know, guys, it's really funny is Van Halen hit Chris and I and all the other guys, because there's 7 of us involved in this book, and there were 7 of us involved in the concert back in 1984. That was our first concert that all of us had ever been to. We were all 12 or 13 years old. We had a chaperone, and then we had another chaperone. And without both of those chaperones, we never would have been able to go. All the parents said no. That's an adult venue. You're good Catholic boys. You guys are altar boys. You're on the Little League baseball team. You know, you ride your bikes to your friend's house. But a Van Halen concert in Cincinnati, X on that one. You are not allowed to go. So, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
That's why I'm
Drop
here.
the bomb
I'm here to
there.
push the buttons.
Yeah.
There's no way. But when Jump came out in December of 83, people all throughout the tri-state area and the world were introduced to the keyboards and a bubblegum song is what some people call it. And Chris and I and my buddies were all at the right age because MTV was just introduced into our house. Everybody had cable. And all of a sudden, my mom and dad now are introduced to Van Halen. And they're like, who are these guys? What is going on, you know? And my mom started to fall in love with David and Eddie. And she's like, okay, these guys are okay. It's all right. We know you're 12 years old. We know you're 13. But here they are coming to Cincinnati. And we all said, we got to go. And my parents then, with the word of trust, that was a big word. I mean, they said, okay, you can go as long as somebody takes you and somebody else is there to monitor you. And we all said, bingo, we're in. So we were invited because Chris's dad was a cop working with Van Halen backstage, guarding them. And then the other dad was the van driver, a father of 8 kids. He's like, what's another 5 more kids in this chaos world? I'll take you guys. No big deal. So he took us, and we were in the 10th row.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh my gosh.
we need to back this up here.
Take
Okay.
it, Chris.
I love how you tell this story. Todd tells this story using my dad as the pawn, as
That
the
is
policeman,
correct.
so you guys could see Van Halen. When my dad was the cop, my mom said absolutely not. So I was left out in the cold at that point. Yeah, you guys got tickets. Yeah, thanks. But it all worked out like we said, so I just want to preface that with the book because that's a lot with it. And yeah, still to this day, thanks for pawning everything off on my dad.
Absolutely. We had to use your dad.
Can I have to ask a question?
Sure.
When well, I'll ask you first, Jim. When did you first get into Van Halen? How were you introduced to the band
That
originally?
was it. December of '83. I mean, the 45 record. I didn't have any older brothers or sisters. Chris was my buddy. He didn't have any older brothers and sisters. My next door neighbors to me at the time, same age as me, same age as Chris, no older brothers and sisters. So we didn't have an influence when it came to rock and roll, Van Halen, Unchained, 1, 2. We really weren't welcome to that because they were playing that song on a heavy metal or a rock station here in Cincinnati. I'm sure that's where it was. And then all of a sudden, Jump is released, and everybody picks the song up. Even the oldie station probably played it one time when it went to number 1, just because they felt obligated, because everybody else was playing it on the hour, every hour, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I mean, it was a 7th grade. We didn't have a driver's license yet. We could barely cross the street to go to Kmart to buy an album, so here we are trying to convince our parents, hey, you gotta let us go. And it created a friendship and a bond between 5 of us and the 2 dads. 40 years. I mean, it's so memorable, Johnny and Ron, that I could be in Australia right now, in Melbourne or Perth or Sydney, just walking through, and a Van Halen song will come on, and instantly I am taken back to 1984 on the spot because we were literally given the best show for our first concert. We were not watching paint dry that day. There wasn't somebody just saying, "La, da, da." I mean, it was bam, in your face.
Yeah, 100%.
So I have to ask one question.
Awesome.
You guys Dave fans then more than Sammy?
I'll answer that one. Here's the way I look at it, Ron, is when I walked out of that concert, I was a Van Halen fan for life. So I had the 1984 album or cassette in my hand going into the concert. So when I came out of the concert, I had to work backwards, okay? So I had to go Van Halen 1, Diver Down, Women and Children First, Fair Warning, and then Van Halen 2. But at the same time, David is leaving, and now I'm introduced to somebody that we already knew pretty well through MTV, and that's Sammy. Can't Drive 55. I didn't even have a driver's license yet, and that song's coming out. And now I'm introduced to him. So if you're a Van Halen fan like I am, and all of us are, to me, there are great songs with each guy, and then there are awesome songs with each guy. And that's how I look at it. I love all their music, and it's not one song is a bummer or one song I'll never want to listen to again. I get excited when someone says Van Halen because I know they're thinking like I do. You're into football, you're into basketball, you're into girls, you're into racing cars, you're into Venice Beach. I mean, you're into, New York or whatever. And I always, when I make a connection with somebody with Van Halen, it just takes it off. I mean, it's almost like an icebreaker. You a Van Halen fan? Well, I'm a Van Halen fan. And boom, we never question each other. Are you Sammy or are you David? Or are you Gary? Or what? It's just, you're a fan. And that's how I see it, guys.
And we always had, for the most part, the core of the band, the foundation. We had Eddie, we had Michael, and we had Alex. And that was the sound. Dave was great. When Sammy came on, 5150 is one of my favorite albums. There is not a song on there that you skip through And it was just a great transition. And I always look at it as Van Halen fans, we are blessed that after the 84 album, that they got a lead singer that they fell off the face of the earth. But the core of the band was there with Eddie, Michael, and Alex. And when Sammy came on, it was different than, earlier with Dave, but the sound was there and it was so meaningful still. And I truly look at it that we're blessed that we all had the opportunity that Dave was in the band and Sammy was in the band, because I don't think it really lost any steam whatsoever or momentum when Sammy came into the band in 88.
Right.
86.
86. My bad.
85, technically.
That's right.
There's your Van Halen encyclopedia right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know everything there is about Van Halen.
And
JG, thank you so much, man.
He knows more about Eddie than Valerie does.
I'll give you guys my background really quickly. JG, thank you so much for the super sticker, man. Thank you so much. I know it shows up red on the chat here, but it's blue on the chat there. Blue, there we go. JG, thank you so much. Really quickly, I'll give you guys my rundown. I was introduced to Van Halen, actually the Jump video, 1984, but the sound was turned off. I was running through a friend's house. We were like skateboarding, and I remember running through and seeing the video on the big, those big TVs, like furniture.
You could never steal them.
Yeah. So I remember seeing the video, and I think later I saw the videos like Hot for Teacher, Panama. I thought the videos were funny. I wasn't a fan yet, but once I saw the movie Back to the Future in the theater, and I saw the cassette tape, it said Edward Van Halen on it. And Marty plays the riff through the headphones. When I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, what's this? And then I know, unfortunately, for some people, my first Van Halen album was 5150.
Perfect. That's okay. That's great.
So to me, Van Hagar is very special to me, But after I bought 5150, I bought Van Halen 1, and I grew up, and I backtracked, like you were saying. I bought Never Down, Women Children First, everything. And then the next record, brand new, was OE812, which, by the way, we call this OE812 Tuesdays right here on Johnny Bean YouTube.
Yep.
And then everything after that, I was actually a major Van Halen collector for a lot of years. I had everything, almost everything, all the vinyl stuff, posters, books. Now I've got your book. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Jump. There we go. 1984 Van Halen concert. So I was I'm still a mega Van Halen fan, but back in the late 80s, throughout all the 90s, I was just a fanatic. Like crazy. Like that's all I would listen to for a long time. And then I don't know if you saw, I interviewed Andy Summers from the Police a few months back. And I told him the story about how when I discovered him, he totally got me away from all this stuff, all the Floyd. By the way, do either of you guys play guitar?
I don't have a musical instrument. I'm not allowed. I am banned after I destroyed my brother. I destroyed my brother's Fender Stratocaster. I am banned. I am banned.
Oh, man.
Wham. Yes, I can play the recorder, maybe. That's going back to fifth grade, Johnny. Okay, maybe.
I had one of those, yeah.
Right. But no, I have no musical talent whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you don't play.
Unfortunately, I'm the same way. Yeah. I wish I could play the air drums like crazy, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you a funny story why I'm not. So Christmas of 1981, all my younger brother wanted was a Fender Stratocaster. So there it is, wrapped up under the Christmas tree. And I am probably 11, he's 9. And he opens it up, and it's boom. Brand new white Fender Stratocaster. Just
nice.
Beautiful. My mom and dad just put ceiling fans in all the rooms upstairs. So we clean up after Christmas. So my brother and I go upstairs to his room. And he says, "You want to try to play it?" And I said, "Sure." And I just sounded awful. And he says, "Give me that thing back right now." And I lifted it up, and the ceiling fan went wham. Halfway through.
Instant Steinberger.
Yes.
The headless guitar. Yeah.
And my mom came running up the steps. She opens up the door. There's my younger brother crying. Jimmy has broke my guitar. Well, thank God she was a doctor on that day on call, because she ran to the bathroom in her bedroom and got her cosmetic case, and she did wood filler in there. She put the shine back on there, and she spray painted it, and then she put fingernail gloss on it and fixed it all. And he still has it to this day, 45 years later almost. So it's got a big gash in it about that far, so it only went halfway through. Luckily, they didn't install the industrial ceiling fans. But ever since that moment, the rock gods told me to stick with baseball, stick with sports, stay out of the music industry. So I took them at their word, and I've never been back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, that's a. Is there's a lot. You guys have a lot of photos in the book. Are there any photos of that guitar in here?
No, there's not. My brother and I have not talked since that day. Okay. No, I'm just joking with you. No, we don't have any cracked photos. That would be heartbreaking to him. I never wanted to let him down again. That's a really sore subject. So when we get together as a family sometime, and he's trying to steer the boat, I'll bring up the cracked guitar and get it back on track a little bit. So it is kind of funny. But he's a big guitar guy. I mean, he loved everything. When I went to Van Halen that night at the age of 13, he was 11, and he basically told me and all my buddies, "That's a waste of money. Those guys are going nowhere in life. That is a waste." He was at that age, Johnny and Ron, that the older guys were influencing him, because my parents were right at that age with The Who and Led Zeppelin, and he couldn't break in and find his niche quite yet. So he was kind of jumping on the coattails of his buddies, way older brothers like Molly Hatchet, Allman Brothers. I mean, so
Montrose.
right.
Yep.
So Van Halen, to Chris and I, and you two guys, you were at the right place at the right time to be introduced to a Hall of Fame band. I mean, I don't know how else really to explain it when I share my Van Halen story. Right place, right time. My brother was a little bit too young. And my other buddies that I grew in with in high school and college, and their older brothers, they were too old to jump on there with me at the Van Halen wave. It's just funny how it's hit or miss by 6 or 7 or 8 years. And then before that, nobody knows. And after that, everybody's like, I don't know. They're into Tommy and Quadrophenia. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So right place, right time for us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of those bands, I mean, it's still rock and roll.
Absolutely.
But I can see, though, how, I mean, when Van Halen came out, and I don't have to tell you guys this, Edward Van Halen changed the electric guitar forever. Mm-hmm. When you guys look up the electric guitar in 1,000 years, Edward Van Halen will be right there next to that.
Right.
100%.
Right.
100%.
It's
just amazing. And like I said, I don't have any musical talent, but I agree with you 1,000%, Johnny. I mean, when he played the guitar and you hear him in his solos or anything, it's like the guitar was just talking to you. It's like you could make words out with what he was doing, and it was just so absolutely powerful with what he could do on the guitar.
The way that he played, he every time Edward would play a guitar, it just had a sound. He had a style. It came to life, and it was just so unique. It was nothing like anything anyone had ever done before. Maybe Hendrix a little bit, Clapton a little bit, but like a combination, of the two. And I hate to say it, but anybody that can play like Van Halen, you can get close, but there's always going to be something missing. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be that spark is never going to be there.
Right. I agree.
You know,
100%.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'll tell you something, John. You had brought up the point about, is there a picture of the guitar in the book, Jim's brother's guitar? But there are some pictures in that book that
there is a guitar in here,
one of a kind.
there's a guy playing a guitar right here.
Yeah, that's Jimmy Myers.
Oh.
Jimmy Myers was jamming. He could rock all through the late 70s and early 80s. He was in a garage band down the street because his parents had 8 kids. And they said, just go down there and warm up. Go down there and play. So that's what Jimmy did. And that's where his band started off, was in a garage band. So that's the one of the Myers family that's in the book. You know, when you have 8 kids, one of them's got to get out of the house and do something.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. And Jimmy, he was going to be here, right?
That was Todd. Jimmy couldn't
Todd.
make it. No, just Todd.
Okay.
Todd could make it. So, you know, like Chris said, keep going, Chris.
Oh no, you were talking about Eddie and his playing and everything. I was talking about some of the pictures that are in the book, but backstage on Van Halen played Thursday and Friday night in Cincinnati, March 8th and March 9th, 1984. My dad had the opportunity to be working backstage. He was a Cincinnati police officer and was kind of tasked with the job of looking over the band, make sure everything was going well. But some of the pictures in the back of the book, my dad had multiple conversations with Eddie, and just he always told me how great of a guy he was. But Eddie wanted pictures with the policemen, the Cincinnati policemen, and he goes, I want you to take one picture of me where you're acting like you're handcuffing me. And then I want a picture with the sniper rifle case.
Wait,
So
that's yours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those photos, those are from you, because I've seen those.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So those are in the. Yep, there they are.
Yep,
I got them hanging on the wall back there behind me. That was backstage.
Is it okay if I
at
show
the
these?
Cincinnati Gardens.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Is it okay if I show these? Yeah, I've seen these photos. I mean, somebody must have stole them from you guys on Facebook, because I've seen them.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Buy the book, you guys, if you want to get the actual photos. There we go. But that's Edward right there.
That's great.
that's right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
Yeah. He's got the no bozo shirt on with the bandana around his neck and the red jacket. But I love that one where he's sitting there with the sniper rifle, just the big smile on his face. It was just, it's cool. I cherish those photos.
Oh my gosh.
And an interesting story with that, that we left out of the book, but I'm going to share it anyways, is the Cincinnati police officers just absolutely had nothing but pure respect for Van Halen. And Mr. Berger, Chris's dad, just respect went both ways. Eddie to him and him back to Eddie. And it wasn't that Eddie and Van Halen was higher than Mr. Berger or any of the policemen. They dropped it down and Mr. Berger dropped his up. And together, uniformly, they became friends for 3 hours that they knew each other. And Eddie said, you want autographs? I can get you autographs. And the other backstage detailed policemen that were working that night said, Van Halen never signs anything for anybody. They do not sign any autographs. And here comes Skip Berger he collected all of our tour books. So all of our tour books were signed individually to all of us at night by Van Halen. I mean,
Was that the poster?
Yes.
No, that's actually the
one
tour book, the 1984 tour book where you unfold it. Right.
And it becomes a poster.
And it turns
though.
into
Okay.
Got that on the
Because I was a major collector for a lot of years. I had every tour book there was.
Yes.
And 84 wise, the only one I could find was that fold out poster. And it seemed like it would. So you can confirm that, right? You guys were there, man.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
Chris
They were
had
there,
it.
Ron.
I got it. So when you hear people talk about, they were just a celebrity, they didn't treat me very well, that's all hearsay. Because Skip Berger was back there interacting with these guys, Eddie, Michael, David, and they were right there with them, sharing stories, laughing, getting some laughs. And, you know, he was still back there guarding them. So I think that really shows the real tone of and the character of Van Halen as a band. Is they wanted to know everything about Mr. Berger. You know, how many days a week does he work? How many kids does he have? How long have you been married? What other detail work do you do? You know, and it goes into depth in there about how the relationship from Eddie to Skip was very strong. I mean, it was just temporary, but he didn't give him the cold shoulder by any means to Mr. Berger. He brought him in, treat him with respect, and that speaks highly, like Chris said, of the band, but more importantly of Eddie. And I see that every day. And talking to other people, they share kind of the same experience that sometimes when they interact with their past, when they describe Eddie, I hear the same thing. The more I'm on shows and talking to people like Chris said. So it's really special to hear that. I mean, it's really cool to hear a celebrity do that. It's neat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it really is. But it's one thing though, guys, to watch Jump on MTV with Martha Quinn and Downtown Julie Brown, and I must have watched it over and over and over and over and over and over. And then you listen to it, but now it's live like the Memorex commercial. Is this live or is this Memorex? And we were
there's a lot of people who's not going to know what you're talking about on that one.
Well, right.
You're definitely showing our age now, Jim.
I know, but
what's a Memorex?
Live or Memorex? Memorex could literally
Ella
blow
Fitzgerald.
you away. But from a business standpoint, which Van Halen is, and we all know that, we went in there thinking we are going to see a band that's the hottest band in America and in the world with the #1 song, with the much energy and zest that all these seventh graders could get. And we're in row 7. So we're only 20 feet away from these guys from row 10.
Dang.
So we could feel the heat coming off. They were sweating like crazy, cussing like crazy, running around, zipping all over the place. David was jumping all over the place. I mean, it was jam-packed full of entertainment. And from a customer service expert was there to witness that night, he would say, everybody who's here tonight is going to jump on Van Halen's bandwagon, and they're going to buy Van Halen stuff for the rest of their lives because of that one concert. Whether that would have been their first concert, whether it had been their second concert. But I didn't know much about Van Halen or concerts, and they blew me away. If they would have walked out on the stage and Alex would have went bum, 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 like the little drummer boy, and David would have just sat there and sang, and Eddie would have strummed, I would have been so disappointed. I never would have bought into Van Halen. I just wouldn't have.
But what we got to experience, the lights going down in the gardens, pitch black in there, all of a sudden the spotlight comes down on Eddie and he starts Unchained, first song. And talk about being absolutely blown away. I mean, get shivers. Years later, I did see some of the YouTube footage and stuff of that. There was no better experience as, Autograph opened up for him. Yeah, but my first song ever, what I'll say in a concert, was Unchained, Van Halen, Eddie opening up the concert. Just absolutely still blows my mind. My favorite song to this day, and him starting off with that, it was just incredible. You thought the roof of the Cincinnati Gardens was going to blow up when he started that.
Here's a trivia question. Does anybody know how Autograph got on that tour?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Johnny,
Jim.
do you?
He is, I believe it was the drummer was good friends. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, buddy.
No, Ron was asking Johnny if he knew the answer.
Do you know?
Me? Do I know?
Yeah.
I can't remember anything. I had a crazy week. I still have
I know
NAM
something
fog.
about Van Halen that you don't know. That's impossible.
Ask the chat. Always ask the chat. We got 81 people here. Chat. How did the band Autograph get the? Actually, I'm Facebook friends with the guitar player. Let's just message him and ask him.
Right, get him on there.
I'll give you a hint. Jogging.
Jogging.
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask the chat. Let's see what the chat says. But there's a lag. There's like a 20, 30-second lag between what we're saying now and what the chat hears.
Gotcha.
So let's see. Who wanted to answer? Jim or Chris?
Sure, I'll go ahead. Ron, you help me out here. Coach me through if I get this correct. That the Autograph's drummer was good friends with David Lee Roth.
Jogging
And
partner.
jogging partner. I
They were
didn't know
jogging
that.
partners.
Okay, right. And he asked them if he would want to go on tour, and Autograph said absolutely. So they weren't even signed to a record deal yet.
Yeah. And they weren't even. They didn't even hardly have anything done at that time. So they
except for the one song.
When Dave offered him that, they went home and got everything together and got who they needed and started. That's how they got it. Yeah. So they actually owe their success to Van Halen / David Lee Roth.
Correct.
And another story I heard about. I was going to say another story I heard about that, Ron, is Van Halen looked at Autograph as the T-shirt band. So
I never heard that one.
They did. Okay. So they wanted somebody to open up that people, if they were at the concerts, like, I don't want to go watch this stuff. I'm going to go up to the merch stand and buy T-shirts and everything. So that's what they called them, a T-shirt
they
band.
were basically
for that
unknown. So yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right. But what's really cool about that is, and I applaud Van Halen for doing this, but more importantly, I applaud Autograph over Van Halen because they took a chance with Van Halen to start the tour on January 18th of 1984. And when Van Halen hit Madison Square Gardens, which I believe it was, I want to say June 5th of 1984, with Turn Up the Radio of Autograph, Autograph then stopped touring with Van Halen and went into the studio and spun out an album real quick. And then I don't know who was the second band that opened up for Van Halen on the second tour in the United States before they went over to England and Germany. I don't remember the name of that band, but there was two opening bands. And it's funny you guys talk about opening bands. As a 12-year-old kid, I only thought you got to see Van Halen. That's it. You're going to see Van Halen, and you're going to see Jump and Unchained and Panama. And then this band comes out with these little wimpy speakers, a very small drum set, and they start singing, and we're like, who are these guys? I mean, for a 2-for-1 night, we got to see, so a one-hit wonder, Turn Up the Radio. It's still played all the time, all over the place. So what a great venue to be welcomed to, not even knowing who Autograph was or even Turn Up the Radio. It wasn't until like later on in 84 when we all were down there in the basement shooting pool or something at one of my buddy's house. And we're like, I think that was the guys that we saw with Van Halen, I think.
Now, didn't one of them pass away like within the last few years?
I want to say the lead singer left the band. So that Autograph is still on tour. The lead singer's name for them, I believe, is something Daniels, and he just spun out a new album probably last month or two. He's done one. So.
Simon Daniels.
There you go. Right. So Autograph is still touring out there, and that's pretty neat. If Autograph came, I would go see him. Heck yeah. That was a special night. I could not begin to tell you what second concert I ever went to. I can't tell you the third. I can't tell you the 9th concert. I can't even tell you the 30th concert. But I can tell you this. My first concert was Van Halen, 1984. And my last concert was with Chris when we went to see Wolfgang play in Columbus, Ohio. So
there you go.
That's
very
really
cool.
I mean, that's really awesome. That we were.
And here's a great little, not per se trivia or anything, but we all know nowadays concerts are just absolutely astronomical for how much you're going to pay, especially if you're down, on the floor, 10th row, whatever. So for the 1984 concert, we were in the 10th row center stage. Can anybody imagine how much that ticket was from Ticketmaster?
Let's ask the chat. Let's ask the chat. The chat. How much was a ticket for Van Halen 1984 floor, right? Or did you have seats? It was just floor.
Floor. We were in the 10th row on the floor.
Right? General
row 10.
No,
row 10.
Right?
No, they were actually, they had folding chairs. Yeah, they had folding chairs. That was, down on the floor of the gardens on top of an ice skating rink. But yeah, there were folding chairs.
I'm
The
And then
old
we
ice
stood
cream.
on them the whole entire concert. Yeah.
Is there a
gonna say
photo of this
1750.
ticket?
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
photos in the book, Johnny. Mhm.
1750? I would
That's
say
why
less
I'm-
than less
Really?
than that. I would think less than that. When I saw them in 1988, it was 1750
Right.
in
So
88.
1250.
Wow.
1275.
I would
Oh,
say
you're close.
You're off. You're off by 25 cents.
1250.
1250.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
Yeah,
my,
and-
my very first concert was Angel in 1977, and I saw him for
Right.
$7.60.
Man, that's awesome. You still got the ticket?
No, I got rid of all that stuff years ago.
Right.
oh.
Do you guys know the Angel Van Halen connection?
I don't. Mm-mm.
No, I don't.
You guys know that?
Got to do with Punky Meadows.
It has to do with when Van Halen recorded, right? In the chat, am I gonna get this right? When they first when they were recording their album, Edward was at a party with maybe the guitar player from Angel, something like that.
That's Punky
And he-
Meadows.
Okay, Punky Meadows, and he played them. I believe You Really Got Me. The next day, Eddie gets a phone call from Ted Templeman. I think this is correct. And Ted's like, "Hey, did you play that for anybody?" And he's like, "Yeah, I played it at a party last night." He had heard that Angel was in the studio that morning recording a version of You Really Got Me.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh no way.
So they had to rush release, I guess, a single of You Really Got Me out,
Right.
possibly before the album.
Right.
Something like that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wood
That's a great
slips,
story.
big ships, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Coots, what's up? Yeah.
They had Craig Jeffrey with him in the Angel then. It was
Okay.
Man.
my second concert was the Doobie Brothers.
Doobie Brothers, man.
Oh wow.
Is that Skunk Baxter? Doobies?
I think so.
I just saw him.
It's also Michael McDonald too,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll wait.
which
I'll
ties
wait.
yeah there you go, which ties into Van Halen.
Right. It's a great song, though. It really
Yeah.
is. It's a very quick album, 1984. I believe there's 8 songs in that album, 9. And I'll wait. I mean, it's perfect. It really is.
I love Alex's drums, and I'll wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He is phenomenal. He really is. Wasn't he just inducted into the Drummers Hall of Fame here recently?
Yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a month ago or something.
Right.
So Jim and Chris, did you guys have the full album, 1984, by the time you saw the concert?
Yes, because the album
Yes.
was released on January the 9th, so you could go get the
Yeah, it
album.
was early.
So it went. The song was released on a 45, then went the jump video, then went the album, then went the tour, which was on the 18th, which was in Jacksonville, Florida. Kicked it off, and then February 25th, Jump goes to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And then here we are on March 9th, seeing the number 1 band with the number 1 song in the world right there, 15, 20 feet away from us. I can tell you this, having been through Catholic schools and being raised on just say no to drugs, I got to tell you what, there was a skunk that was really running rampant all over the venue that night that I had no idea what it was. I couldn't even see him. I could not identify him.
Oh gosh.
So that's a shot
Oh, yeah.
out. That's a shout out to Chris's dad. Chris's dad was a beat Cincinnati cop, full time for many years, and Chris's dad was invited in the fall of 1983, I believe, when we were in the 7th grade, to come and give the school an awareness on just how to say no with Nancy Reagan. Just say no, and he brings all this paraphernalia in, and we're all in our dress uniforms, the slacks and the Oxford shirts. And here we are, you fast forward 5 months, we're in row 10, and the whole place is just packed full.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we've seen all the Cheech and Chong movies and everything, but that was the first time actually in person see somebody blaze up right there. It was like, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we had a contact buzz as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, the only thing that was missing was the sex part. But Chris, when he got to go backstage and meet Van Halen, he'll take it from here. He's got that category wrapped up very innocently, but it is funny from a 12-year-old.
Yeah, very innocently.
Yeah, go ahead. Share that one. It's a great story. It's a great story.
Yeah. Well, kind of going back to, we were talking about the ticket and $12.50. And this whole story's in the book, of course, that, my friends used my dad as the pawn to be able to get tickets. They had a supervisor. He was going to be watch over. I wasn't allowed going. So my parents said, no way at all. And that Thursday night, we had talked about earlier with my dad working backstage, met Eddie, had a connection. It really connected on a level. And Eddie asked my dad, is your son here tonight? Thursday night. He's like, no, he's they got school tomorrow morning. No, he's not coming. Well, is he coming tomorrow night on Friday night? And my dad's like, no, he doesn't have a ticket. And that's when Eddie looked at my dad and said, I want you to bring your son tomorrow night. And I want you to bring him backstage and meet me and meet the band.
Oh my God.
So you're talking about a 12-hour span at 7:00 in the morning, Friday, where I get up and all my buddies are going to the show. And I still have no idea that I'm going. Yeah, exactly. But everything was getting me down that morning because all my buddies are seeing Van Halen that night. But, so I came down for breakfast and my mom had the newspaper article of the review from the Thursday night show at the Gardens. And I'm like, thanks, Mom, rub it in. I'm not going to be able to go. And she gets a smile on her face and she goes, you're going to the concert. And I go, I don't have a ticket. I can't go. And she said, don't worry. Your dad's got this taken care of. So we all, in the book, we talk about the van ride over to the Gardens, about a half an hour, 40 minutes. Get to the Gardens. Jim, all my buddies go to the front of the Gardens in the turnstiles. There it is, the old Cincinnati Gardens. What a great venue. 11,000 seats in there. But I met my dad. We walked to the side of the Gardens, knocks on this inconspicuous door, and the door opens. It's one of my dad's buddies, and walk in. You got a couple of cops there. There you go. Yeah, and it was March, and it was cold, and it was snowy, so it was squeaking a little bit. But, I walk into the Gardens the first time, and my dad just starts walking down this corridor, and you hear some chatter. You see all these music cases and everything. And then all of a sudden I look up, and there are just a line of beautiful women, Aquanet hair, scantily clad, all this stuff. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, what is going on here? I mean, really? And he goes, come on, keep walking. My head's turning this way. I'm like, okay. So he knocks on the door and the door opens and he goes back. He goes, just wait here a second. I didn't know that he actually walked back there where the band was and said that I was coming back. So walk back there and, the first person I see is Eddie, walks up to me, shakes my hand, and I'm in this, this heaven, something out of a movie where you got this big halo all around Eddie and walking up in this lights. And I'm 12 years old and I am shaking Eddie Van Halen's hand. And then I got to meet the rest of the band, Michael, Alex, and Dave. And they took my my cassette liner from my 84 album, popped it on the table, signed it all and everything. And I love it because Michael Anthony on it. Yeah, it's in the book there, Johnny. Michael Anthony wrote Chris Rock On and wrote his autograph, and just absolutely my favorite piece of memorabilia. And so at 12 years old, at my first concert, I beat the greatest rock band in the history of the world. and just incredible memories. And a lot of that is in the book. And that's why that book means so much to me, because of that experience. It experienced the concert with my friends. I mean, we talk about it to this day, and it's just like it happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were they in their stage clothes? The band? Do you remember?
No,
Do you remember what
no.
they look like?
They were just kind of. I remember Eddie was in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. But you got to understand too, John. I'm in this haze, and I'm just like in awe. I'm still concentrating on the girls that were outside and everything. But no, they weren't, because Eddie had those blue jeans with the patches.
All the blood was somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't in this head, that's for sure.
Boom.
But no, they weren't. Dave wasn't
Catholic
in the
school wasn't the
spandex and all
same after that.
Oh gosh, and I told this story when we all went back to school Monday. We had to go to confession because that was
that's right.
Yeah, we had to clean our minds.
That's right. A cleanse.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
exactly.
Yeah. I can't imagine meeting your favorite band or anybody, like somebody you look up to, like at that age. I can't even imagine meeting Van Halen then. I mean, truthfully, I wasn't a fan then yet. I became a fan. I became a fan a couple years later, but like I was telling you, I grew up on the Van Hagar years. But let's say 1988 to 99, somewhere from those years. If I would have met Van Halen, forget it. It would have been just insanity.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And I was still, young and everything. Yeah, they were the hottest band and everything. But honestly, it wasn't until years later where, I was pulling out the memorabilia and looking at those photos where, it really hit me. It really hit me that, oh my gosh. And, of course, the day Eddie passed in 2020, that was a day that it was that whole experience that night. And from January of 84, when I first heard Jump, all the way to that day, it's like everything came rushing down. And it's, we don't like to mourn celebrities or anything like that, but Eddie had such a huge impact in my life with not only meeting him and just the experience with my dad's a hard nut to crack, believe me. And to actually hear him say that, he had a conversation with Eddie and they actually had a connection and everything. It was like, okay, this is really interesting. And, but yeah, I mean, Eddie, Van Halen, that night has made me just the ultimate music fan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It really is. And everybody can relate to that in one fashion or another. And that's what the book is really celebrates is it's not just about going to a concert. It's about what Van Halen gave us as friends.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron, you talked about going to see Angel. I mean, who were you with? Were you with a couple buddies? Were you with, so you probably remember all their names.
Yeah.
And that's a sacred moment in your life that you will remember for the rest of your life. The moment, the time, the night, you can pinpoint it. It's your own day to identify. And same with you, Johnny. Could you name the guys you were with when you went to your first concert?
It was my parents.
There you go.
My first concert was a singer named Raffi. I don't know if you remember him.
No.
Although I did get to meet him.
That's a West Coast
that's
thing.
cool. You and Chris. Yeah.
I did. He was a kid's singer. He sang. You ever heard of a song called Baby Beluga?
No, I'm sorry.
Ever heard that?
No.
You guys are. You guys must be older than me because it's like my age or younger than me. That was a thing, but
He's like the West Coast Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, when I went to my first concert, I got to meet the singer after the show, and we were on the news together that night. The news camera showed us. So I went to school the next day, and my friend's like, "I saw you on the news," But seriously,
awesome.
After that, my first real actual concert was Huey Lewis in the News, sports tour, 84.
Right.
So same year.
Yeah.
But my first Van Halen concert was November 5th, 1988, OE812.
And who were you
Van
with?
Halen.
Who were you with? A couple buddies?
I was with my dad.
Were you? Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't old enough
Okay.
to drive.
That's
then.
awesome.
Right? Perfect.
No.
Okay.
Perfect. See? Ties right in.
So was your dad a Van Halen fan? Or did he
He is
just take
now.
you because you loved them? Okay.
No, he would
Yes,
take me.
wow.
He would take me, and actually, I think before we started, you guys were saying how many times you had seen Van Halen. I've seen them something maybe 12, 13 times, 14 times, maybe.
Okay.
Because I would see them multiple times on each tour, because out here, they'd
Right.
play 3 nights in a row,
Right. One up
and I would go to
there.
each
Right.
one. But there was one night when they played, 31 years ago, 1993. They played Shoreline Amphitheater out here in Mountain View, California. My parents were taking me to the concert, and they're probably watching this, so they're probably laughing at this. They were taking me to the concert, and our car actually broke down on the way,
No.
on the side of the freeway. So they had to put me in a cab, get me to the concert. It was all about me getting to the concert, and then
So you
they were
by
still there
yourself
with the
in
car.
cab?
Huh?
You were by yourself in the cab?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went by
That's
myself.
perfect.
I went by myself to that show. And that was like 3 nights in a row of Van Halen that night.
Oh, man.
You know.
That is awesome.
So cool.
That's awesome. that is just unbelievable. You know, when everybody remembers those
Right.
stories, that's the impact I think that music has on everybody. Everybody can share a little piece of each concert they go to, and then to have that one moment, you're taking a taxi, or you met the band, or you were on the news, and Chris's dad, and Ron explains who he was with when he saw Angel. I mean, that's very powerful when you look back on it. We didn't understand how powerful it was in the moment,
Right.
because it wasn't sacred ground. It was just fresh, and we didn't appreciate it. But now that I'm 52, and I look back, and that's what this book is about, is in anybody's journey going to a concert, the band's giving us something back, and then we reciprocate by giving them something back too. We join the Van Halen fan club. You know, you're going up to Kmart and you're buying their albums, or you're on Columbia House and you get all their cassettes for one.
I have one of those. I have one that's
Yes.
still mint. It hasn't
Right.
been opened yet.
You just
And I
never
still
send
owe
the
like the
check.
penny.
Oh,
I
That's
think.
right.
You still owe the penny.
Columbia House, if you're watching, here it is.
You're right. You never send them the full amount for the album for the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's really powerful. I mean, I can only imagine that, you know, from a business standpoint, you get one shot at a Van Halen concert, your first concert, OU812, 5150, Van Halen 1. Doesn't matter what tour it is, you're getting new fans constantly coming in there. And all you hear about is this band is awesome. Eddie is awesome. The entertainment value is awesome. The pizzazz, the hype, everything. And then these people walk in there for the first time and they experience everything that you've explained to them, maybe for a year, because now they're coming around on tour. And now all of a sudden they're like, you're right. I got to do this. I got to buy that. I got to do this. I got to download this. I got to, you know, prescribe to this, and boom, 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 boom. And then you go to another concert, maybe for the first time, and you're like, you know, it was like this. Right.
It's tough to compare every concert after, you know, the 84 concert. You know, that's what everything we see nowadays is compared to that. It's like, okay, well, everything's going to fall a little bit short because that was the greatest show.
I can't believe you guys were at that show and you were like 10 rows back.
10 rows.
That must have been just insanity.
Mhm.
And just
10 rows.
craziness. And I'm sure you guys saw the footage that came out of Donington 84. I call it pro shot, but it's like B shot from like one camera.
Is it real gritty looking?
Yeah.
Real gritty?
No.
You guys haven't seen it?
Oh, I haven't.
There's
seen
pro
that.
shot 84 footage out there now.
It's like
Okay.
an hour
Pro
and a half.
shot.
Okay.
An hour and a half concert, Donington 84.
Awesome.
You've never seen that?
No.
Oh, I
You got-
haven't.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You guys are going to have to add to the back. I'm going to write in the back of this book.
Yes.
That's what we did.
Part
Exactly.
Part two.
Anyway, like I said, I grew up on Van Hagar, and you guys, you know, some of you guys will be laughing at me, and that's fine. But But when you see this footage, like you see it, and like for me, I understand. I totally get where you guys are coming from when you see footage like that. When you see the energy of Van Halen, 1984 era.
I'm the Dave fan of the two.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love all of
It
it.
equals it out, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with you 100%. I love, all the songs, all the music. And like I said at the beginning, the foundation of the three always there with Eddie, Alex, and Michael. I mean, that's what, with Eddie playing the guitar. And of course, Mike on bass. I mean, geez, his solo in 84, and Todd brought this up. We talked about it. I thought the roof was going to come in when Eddie did his solo. When Mike played that bass, that solo, I can't believe the roof was still on that place.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
You can, that's another thing. Ron and I were talking about this on a previous show, is in this pro shot footage, you see Michael Anthony's 84 solo right there from the stage,
And
where he's
Smash
playing
the
a Kramer. He's playing one of the Kramer basses. He's throwing it down on the ground. He's jumping on it.
Yeah.
And to see it that close up, because this is the first time anything from that era has been released like this much of it, at least.
And it's shot from right alongside
It's shot
the stage.
right.
Yeah.
You guys, I can't believe you guys have never seen this.
I can't believe
I've
It
seen
came out-
Toronto footage. I've seen Montreal footage. That's
Yeah.
all I've seen.
Oh, that's
I've
nothing.
seen all the
That's
grainy
nothing.
stuff.
That's nothing. Let me show you guys a couple stills from that, if I can find. I just want to.
But
You
that's
guys,
magical.
you guys are gonna,
That's
you guys are gonna jump. Literally,
I mean-
you guys are gonna jump
Yeah,
out of here
exactly.
and watch
right,
that.
Right. That's awesome that
So-
you're able to salvage
You have
that.
the link, Johnny? Why do I always say John? Do you have the link, Johnny, still, or is it still even up?
Some of it is up. Wait, is that the whole thing? Yeah, somebody has taken a bunch of it down. Some of it is up. I'll just show you guys like a second of let me. Is this the whole thing?
How
Yeah,
is
I'm
the
not sure this-
audio on it?
The audio was mixed in. The audio is audience,
Oh, okay.
but the audio is still good. The audio
Okay.
was still good, but the audio was definitely audience. But it's the footage. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let me
Isn't
what I
that
wanna-
great? Who do you think released it or shared it or snuck it out?
It was shot for television, I believe.
Okay.
Oh,
And it's B-roll, meaning it's like a camera from the side
Right.
of the stage. It's not like
Right.
meant
Somebody's
to be
holding-
like
right.
you'll see. I'll just kind of like show you like some stills from
Mhm.
this. Let me see.
I mean, that's incredible that that's out there and it's just being released 40 years later. Somebody had that in the archives in an old box
Yeah.
marked "Don't
Wow.
throw away." You know.
It's unbelievable. Like you guys won't believe this. I mean, how close this is.
Yeah. That was
I'll
probably
just-
the guy right next to us.
I mean, it's shot
Oh.
from the stage.
Yeah, like right there. They're like 10 feet away from him.
It's shot
Right.
from, literally from the look, like that close.
Right there.
is
Oh yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. That
Where's
is
the oh, there we go.
Yeah.
See, there's Mike on the stage rolling around
Oh, that's awesome.
playing where's the Kramer at? He's like smashing the Kramer. It's unbelievable.
That's what he thought of Kramer guitars.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah, look
that's
at
a
that.
Great shot there.
And that's the thing. We had never seen him playing that guitar until this was released. See, right there, the Kramer bass.
right.
Oh my gosh.
He
With a
takes
metal
it.
neck.
Smashes it on the ground.
There's the gong in the background.
Oh,
Yeah.
the gong. Oh, I love that.
Do you guys have gongs?
That. No, but I'll tell you what, after seeing the Unchained video, I wanted one. And that was actually part of the conversation on the van ride over to 84. That was my main thing. Is Alex going to light the gong on fire and just start beating the heck out of it? And he did. And it was,
Mhm.
just mind
Anyway, You guys are gonna have to check this out. It's called Donington '84, and I can.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. Parts of it are on YouTube.
When it first came out, it was almost an hour and a half long.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's like a
awesome.
part of it.
So
That's
they
a
keep
part of
shrinking
right
it
there.
down, Ron. Like people are pulling stuff out, or what?
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got out there, but it's. I mean, that's the thing. The past few years, all this stuff has been leaking, and I mean, us as fans, it's amazing stuff. Incredible, just
Oh, it's
incredible stuff.
absolutely amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
to be
You
able
know?
to see that and relive that is just amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That is so
let me
cool.
just
I definitely
let me
have
just
checked
say
that.
that because of that footage there, I can't even comprehend like what you guys were seeing that night. 10 rows back. I mean, because that was like, I mean, just the volume, the audio at that show, to see the band running around, throwing guitar picks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one question, that if you even remember this. What did you think? Because it wasn't the first tour where they played keyboards. Well, I'll ask you guys this. Your trivia. What was the first tour where there was a keyboard on stage? Do you guys know?
Whew. For Van Halen,
Gosh, it
Yes.
would have been Diver Down? The Diver Down tour in 82? No?
Earlier.
Okay.
The
Yeah, I
chat's
don't
telling
know.
us.
early.
Oh, fair
Hollywood
warning.
Bowl in 78,
Bob, 1980.
1980.
1980, Van Halen actually, they played And the Cradle Will Rock live, and Michael played the keyboard part on stage.
Oh, wow.
Eddie played a Les Paul. So whenever you see Eddie playing a Les Paul from the 80 era, that's the only song they're playing is Cradle Will Rock. But when 84 came around, Michael and Edward both played keyboards together for I'll Wait and for Jump.
Oh, gosh, what a great song. Yeah.
So if you guys even remember this, like, do you guys remember during Jump, Eddie played the guitar solo on a keyboard? He didn't even play guitar on Jump
Right.
live.
Correct.
Do you remember
Right.
that?
Yeah, we do, because that was another one of the things we kept asking. How is Eddie going to play the guitar and the keyboard at the same time during Jump? And that was the one thing. As soon as they started that was our focus right there, what Eddie was doing and everything. And yeah, that was great to see. So cool.
Yeah.
Here we were, 12 years old, trying to solve their problems, Johnny. Like in the back of the van, what are we doing here? Is it keyboard, or are we going to jam?
What are we going to focus on? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
That was our dilemma
when
in 1984.
Yeah, but when you talk about being in the 10th row and how loud it was, I thought Autograph was loud when they played, and I think maybe they had 7 or 8 speakers. But in that half an hour, 45 minutes when they did the set change, and the first time I saw the bank of speakers for Van Halen, it was just a wall of speakers. And then, of course, like I said, when Eddie started out with Unchained, that place just rocked to the core. I have never heard, and still to this day, I don't think I'd ever heard a concert that loud before in my life. I mean, it shook me from the inside out.
Huh?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Thank God we had a long weekend there, because we couldn't hear anything until Monday.
That's right.
You
That's
guys
right.
have tinnitus now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The constant ringing in my ears all the time.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
I don't
Oh, well, just what an incredible night.
Right. I mean, it was like Big Bertha's hanging up there. I mean, it was just so powerful, so impressive to look at. Even before they turned it on, like Chris said, the curtains drop for maybe 1 second, and you get a bird's eye view right there, and wham, here comes Eddie with the spotlight, and whoo, you're blown back. I mean, that Aquanet hair for the women never would have shifted anywhere, but If you had long hair as a
That's
man,
true.
your hair went straight back. I mean, you were literally blown away in your Forenza sweater or your Guess jeans or whatever you were wearing, parachute pants. I mean, it was very impactful. And it really
and
was.
nonstop. There was no break whatsoever. I mean, it was just nonstop music from the second they started.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I always loved the way Van Halen did that, though. You know, started out and everything, then each one of them took their solo and everything. And I just thought that was one of the greatest things because there wasn't like a break or just somebody sitting up there to kind of give everybody a little bit of break. So when each one of them did their solo, and especially, you know, how could you, you know, have any complaints or anything? Okay, Eddie Van Halen with his solo, Michael Anthony with his solo, and then Alex Van Halen doing a solo. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know which one, you know, outplayed the other, but it was just so cool to see that. And that happened, you know, I've seen Van Halen 15 times, and the way they maintained that structure throughout the years was just so cool to see.
So then obviously you saw them in '84, Chris, and then after that,
Saw them in 84. Saw them with
5150
with Sam 5150, OU 812. And the beauty of being in Cincinnati is I've got Columbus an hour and 45 minutes from me, Indianapolis an hour and 45 minutes, Lexington, Kentucky an hour, Louisville a little bit over an hour and a half. So when they came on tour, hey, I could go Cincinnati here. So I saw multiple times on the tours and everything. It was great. And yeah, just seeing them. And I got to take my wife for the first time. It was the Balance Tour. And actually, we went down the Rupp Arena down in Kentucky. And that was her first experience with Van Halen. And, you know, she had a great time and everything. But that was the beauty of where we are, similar to what you experienced, that, hey, we could go. And it was always great if they went, you know, Cincinnati to Columbus, then the East Coast, then come back later and hit that Indianapolis. So, you know, you can span it out over a month or two instead of back-to-back nights and stuff. So I was so fortunate to be able to experience that and see them multiple times.
Right.
Yeah. Janice says we sound like deadheads. I've seen them 104 times this week.
104 this week. So, Johnny, which so you've seen them 12, 13 times. What was your favorite tour that they went on?
Let me see. Well, I saw them '88. Not the Monsters of Rock tour. It was the tour after Monsters of Rock. So it was actually just 0812. It was them and a band called Private Life. That was a band that Valerie Bertinelli had discovered out of Louisiana. Eddie actually produced their album. I don't know if you guys knew that. If you guys have that.
I didn't know that.
They have 2 albums. Edward and Ted Templeman produced both of them. So I saw them in '88. Very first time. It was amazing because, see, before that, I had the Live Without a Net home video. I'd be watching that every day. So I know that you guys can freeze frame a part of that, and I'll tell you exactly the song out of that, right?
Okay.
So I'd watch that every day. So '88 was the first show. Incredible. Couldn't believe it. Let's see, '88. '91, I saw them. '92, I saw them. They came back. It was a different leg of the '92 tour. And actually, I had met a band called Mr. Big.
Right.
Billy Sheehan. And see, normally what I do is I every time one of these names get said, I do something like this. So I had met Billy Sheehan. Hey, this is Billy Sheehan. You're watching Johnny Bean TV.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Hola, amigos. This is your bass player, Billy Sheehan. You're watching me right here on my dear friend, John. It went away.
Oh, no.
Johnny Bean. I can.
He couldn't remember my name.
That's okay.
So we're best friends, though, apparently. So I'd met Billy Sheehan. Van Halen was going to be in town like a month later. And all I asked Billy Sheehan was, hey, can you get me passes to Van Halen, like backstage? He's like, nah, I can't. So, okay, so I saw them 88, 91, 92. In 93, I saw them 3 times because out here in the Bay Area, they would play like 3 nights in a row, or they would play like 3 or 4 venues, like an hour away from each other. So if you wanted to, you could hit all these shows, during that weekend or whatever. So 93, 95, I saw them 3 times. And one of those shows, Eddie was actually detained. He was going to get on a plane coming from Burbank up to Oakland, and he forgot he had a loaded gun in his bag. Did you guys ever hear that story?
Oh, geez, I did not hear that story.
So he gets detained. I get to the show, and the show says show canceled, illness. And then in the paper that week, there's a story saying Eddie Van Halen gets detained at an airport going to Oakland because he had a gun in his bag.
Oh, no.
So they had to come back and redo that show, right? So that's 95, 3 times. After that, 98, I did not get to see them because I was on tour myself that year. So in 98, I did not get to see them live. But what was after that? 04, I saw them once. I think we're counting, but basically I've seen them every the last tour, 2015. I saw them twice. The second to last show I saw them, Concord, California. I was 10 rows back on Edward's side.
Oh,
and
jeez.
I had never seen him play that close up. Now, I had gotten the, I had met him a year before. I was invited to a private party. I was invited to a few, and I could have met him a few times, and I for some reason or another, I didn't go. But I did go one time. I did go one time to a party.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I did meet him. I did get to talk to him, and everything. But this was 10 years ago. This is 2014. But in 2015, I got to see him like 10 rows back doing his thing. And I spent the whole show just being like, I can't
staring at him.
I can't believe what I'm seeing here.
Sure.
Couldn't believe it. So I like I'm saying, I can't imagine you guys 10, 12 years old or whatever, 84, 10 rows back. I mean, no wonder there's a book, because that's unbelievable.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is. Yeah, and we were in the perfect spot too, because we got straight ahead, we got Dave. To the left was Michael. To the right was Eddie, and of course, straight back was Alex. And we didn't have to constantly go on with our peripheral vision. Yeah, we could see the whole entire thing, but I was focused, just like you, Johnny. I was focused on Eddie, just watching what he was doing and everything like that, and and then of course Mike just killing it on that bass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Michael's
stuff. Right, go ahead.
Michael's a great dude. I've been lucky enough. I've gotten to meet Michael many times over the years.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's just incredible. And it was great to see. Actually, I have a card from a previous show. Did you guys know that Michael and Wolfgang they got to meet, or they got to reunite like a few months ago? Did you guys hear about that? I was
reading something on that. Yes.
Yeah.
That's just amazing.
Michael went to one of Wolf's shows, and got to reconnect with Valerie Bertinelli.
Good.
And I mean, that's for us. I mean, that's so good to see, and especially for someone like me that runs a pretty big Van Halen group on Facebook, where there's nothing but fighting left and right. No, I mean, for one thing, it shows you how much people love this band. That they'll be like, Roth, no, Hagar, no, like all these years later, the band will never. I mean, unfortunately, the band is no more. Because no Edward Van Halen, no Van Halen, and no story.
Right, you're right.
Whatever.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
But to see these fans every day to be saying, I like this, And that just shows you the power of the Van Halen, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
Exactly.
think so much. I think so much took place that night, and back in 1984. I always think sometimes, what happens if I would have saw a different concert for the first time? Would I have fallen in love with music as much as I have after seeing Van Halen?
Probably
the first
not.
Air Supply.
Exactly, or something like.
If you were 10 rows back at an Air Supply show,
He's all out of love.
Lover Boy.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a book, and we wouldn't be sitting here right now. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, to see
the
David
book would
Lee
be
Roth,
this.
right?
No, I'm kidding.
But you know, we were.
I love Air Supply. I love it. One thing, let me just say, I love all music because I am a musician.
Yeah.
I actually
Right.
do play.
Right.
And like what I was saying earlier, I talked to Andy Summers, from the Police. There's
Sure,
like a
Police.
photo we took a couple months ago. When I discovered him, he totally, when I grew up, I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen. I think we all did. But when I met Andy before I met him, but when I heard him, the Police, that totally got me away from doing all this, and it got me into just different things. And then you guys don't know this, but a few years later, I ended up being in a band, and I was signed, and I was working with a producer named Desmond Child, who I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he wrote "You Give Love a Bad Name," "Living on a Prayer," "Dude Looks Like a Lady."
Okay. Right.
All the big Bon Jovi, Aerosmith stuff was him.
And old
Right.
Kiss songs too.
I Was Made for Loving
Did he?
You,
Okay.
Kiss, all that stuff. So when I got to that stage, like it was more like, okay, like I'm in the music business, like I kind of know, like it's different, it's a different thing. And so like when I met Edward, it was like, it was like, yeah, that's Eddie Van Halen, but it was like, oh, he's just a regular person and whatever. That's like what I was saying. If I had met Eddie back in 86, 87, 88, forget it. It would have been just whatever.
Correct.
But Chris, I mean, you met him in 84. I mean,
Exactly. I mean, it like I said, it meant the world to me at that time, and I was in awe. But backing up, a few years later, really to understand what happened in that moment, who I actually met, shook their hand, and signed in my cassette liner. It's just. Unfortunately, I didn't have the same mindset that, I had years later and stuff. And, I probably would have hugged him and tried to do other stuff like that, trying to get a shirt or something like that. But, it's just, the meaning that it has to me right now is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I shook his hand. Because I had a mutual friend introduce us. I had her introduce us, and she's like, hey, Eddie, this is Johnny Bean. And I remember telling him, hey, I drove down from here, and it took like 5 hours to drive. Normally it takes a little longer. And that was one of the things we joked about was he's like, I'm like, I drove down here, and it was a private party, and so it was really cool. And anyway, I remember him saying to me, oh, well, I was after the show was over, after the thing was over, the event. And he's like, well, hey, now you can go home. And he gives me a fist bump to the chest. Eddie. Oh, and Eddie, he's right in my face talking to me like this. He's right in my face. And he had the sausage hors d'oeuvres at this party. So his breath is right in my face. I could smell his breath. He's right looking at me like this. Gives me a fist bump like this. And I'm like, oh, wow, he's like a real guy, And it was like normal. It was like normal. Like if I was 14 back in, in the 80s or whatever, forget it. It would have been just whatever. But it was about a week later, I was sitting at a stoplight, and that's when it hit me like, I met Eddie. I met him.
Right.
I met him, and it was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
Then it all just comes rushing down, and the appreciation for that and everything. It really becomes overwhelming at that point.
Yeah. It does, but it is different now, though. I mean, for me, like when I meet people, like I was just at the NAMM show a couple days ago. Like I ran into all these rock stars, and who did I meet? I met Dweezil Zappa. I met Adrian Vanderberg. I met Corey Feldman. I met him. I don't even remember who I met, but
So
Anyways,
many-
they're just people. They're just
Sure.
regular people, whatever.
Sure.
So it's different now. It's different now, but what if it's your favorite, and it's it's very
Something special.
It's extremely special.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
That's right.
Well, I think
Chris
also
King, that's right, man.
in the '84 tour, each guy had a stage presence that they were tasked with doing. For example, Alex with the drum solo, and then setting the gong ablaze. I mean, that was his own niche. And then you had David Lee Roth jumping all over the place. But then one thing that really stuck out for me was he's coming out there with a samurai sword. And I'm like, what is going on?
That was his solo.
Right. And
that was his solo.
He's doing it, and he's doing it. And I'm like, this is awesome. I mean, what's going on here?
The music, actually, to that, I don't know if you guys know this, Eddie was playing a keyboard during that part.
Okay.
Eddie's playing a keyboard, and Roth is out there doing the sword thing.
Right.
The music Eddie is playing on the keyboard was actually a part of a soundtrack to a movie that was released that year called The Wildlife.
Oh, really? That is awesome.
Like, if you guys want to totally go back to 1984 and have some Van Halen music, check out a movie called The Wildlife.
Is that the throwback with the high school kids? Is that right? The Wildlife yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about these high school kids and this kid that graduates high school, but then he hangs out with high school kids.
Right.
And all the trouble they get into and the party. And Edward Van Halen did the whole soundtrack.
Awesome.
So you can hear a lot of ideas to songs that would be released on future records.
Right.
There.
Right.
That's awesome.
And,
I
and
remember
you guys were talking about Michael Anthony just 10 minutes ago. Michael Anthony, he had not just a Kramer bass, but he had a Jack Daniels bass.
Yeah.
And he's right there.
That was awesome.
Made by Jackson.
Right. And then some person runs out on the stage, kind of like to slow down, like Chris said, to get everybody a break, and hands him a fifth of Jack Daniels right there.
It was on that. It was on that platter. Yeah, you had on the platter, and the little person was in a tuxedo, went out and handed that to him. Yeah, and that was right in front of us when that happened. Yeah, exactly.
And he drinks
Oh my gosh.
That was great. Oh, jeez.
I mean, you almost talk it like you're watching a live play. I mean, you're watching a Broadway performance because everybody was moving. Everybody was playing a part. It flowed perfectly. It was choreographed perfectly, but it wasn't anything over the top. I mean, it was just relatable, realistic at the age of 12. But, I mean, it was just never ending. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I've been to many concerts after that, and I've compared it all to that. I'm like, well, where's the fun part? Where's the little fireworks? Where's somebody going to smash something?
Where's the little people and the Jack Daniels?
Where's the little people? When's somebody going to jump in the air and cross their feet in the air? When is somebody going to jump off the back of the drum set? When is somebody going to go up off to the left and the other guy's going to go way off to the right and they're going to jam together? I mean, it's just incredible to be. And Van Halen, and I thank them all for this. I mean, they gave us a tremendous gift. And this book, and Chris and I, and you guys sharing this story, it's a tribute to those guys that gave us so much. I mean, they truly did. I mean, I was in the right place at the right time. It kicked off with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's Eddie Van Halen's guitars up there in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm there with my daughter, and she screams, "Dad, you got to get over there!" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there's all the Frankenstein guitars behind this glass case." And I said to her, "Have I ever told you the Van Halen story?" And she said, "Dad, I have heard that 1 million times."
You told me 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Exactly.
And we told it so many times that it had to be in a book. you know, you and I and Ron and Chris, we all grew up with photo albums. My parents had numerous photo albums, and my mom's mom, grandma had photo albums. Well, now my daughter's age, they don't have photo albums. They have them all saved in their phone.
On something like this.
Exactly, a flash drive.
Yeah, on a flash drive.
And I wanted something to be special here to capture the moment, to celebrate with my buddies, and to celebrate with guys like yourself and fans all across America that Van Halen gave us something. And I grew up with my dad telling me all about the Beatles and the Beatles and the Beatles and the Beatles, watching them with a $3.50 ticket here where the Reds played the stadium. I mean, it was just nonstop. Well, this is my moment.
Right.
This is my generation that I grew up with. And this is the band that gave me it all. So it's a momentum, and it's a cheers to those guys that gave a lot. And, you know, they're coming here to Cincinnati 3 times between Sammy and Michael once and Wolfgang twice. And this place is going to go crazy about it. I mean, they really are. Mm-hmm. People are looking forward to them coming back here again. They really are. And you touched about it, Johnny, about Michael and getting together with Wolfie, and Valerie's behind that. Well, Valerie is in this book, okay? Somebody engaged with Valerie at the concert that night, and it's in the book. It's just very funny. You know, you grow up, and my mom says, oh, Eddie Van Halen's wife, she's in that TV show. So everything just matched up perfectly.
Right.
Everybody should celebrate that. I mean, when you go, it's just really choice or rad, how they had to say back in '84. So I thank them. I really do. The neat moment.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just kind of jump on with what Jim said and everything. The really great part, besides everything Jim said, friends, the concert and everything, is when we've been out talking to people, the connection with that show. Now, we've done a lot of stuff here in Cincinnati, but people saying, oh, I was at the Thursday night show. You know, oh, I was at the Friday night show, and hearing their experiences. And one lady brought actual pictures from the Thursday night show that her boyfriend took, and to actually see those crystal clear photos of the gardens and the stage, it was just incredible. So that's been so special too. Just, you know, be able to talk about Van Halen and everybody else's experience. And, you know, that's why we really appreciate you guys having us on. And, you know, it's always enjoyable to talk about memories, especially when it comes to deal with Van Halen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It really is.
I saw a photo, and it had the Frankenstrat on the stage laying down, and you see some stuff like part of the amp stuff behind it, and it says, sooner or later you'll realize it doesn't matter who was singing. I thought that was pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, that kind of just that piggybacks what I was kind of saying, Rod. You know, Eddie, Michael, and Alex, that's the core right there. That's what I think about a Van Halen. That's incredible. I love that. And it's so true too.
It really is. You nailed it. You really did, Ron. Great additive right there, buddy. That was really sharp, you know. So Johnny, and Ron, so I got to ask you, I love asking this question when we meet people. What is your all-time favorite Van Halen song? If you had one song that you had to listen to, Van Halen, what would it be? You have one choice.
Well, that's not easy.
Wow. Okay.
Ron, did you have all their albums?
Not all of them.
Oh,
I had the Dave ones, and then 5150.
Okay. How about in the chat? Okay. Always ask the chat. We got 60 people here.
Okay.
In the chat, what's your one favorite Van Halen song? Is that it?
Oh, Naturally Wired. I see that. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's a good one.
Fair Warning, great album.
Oh yeah.
Unchained, there it is. That's my favorite.
That's to you, Chris.
Tom hit that on the head. That's mine.
That's your favorite one, Chris? Unchained?
Yeah, Unchained. 100%.
Did you hear the track that was released like a few months ago that has some of the extra? It's not the whole song. It's like a piece of the song, but there's more of like the instruments on it that were like taken off the final mix. Like more guitar stuff. You didn't hear that?
Really?
Oh my God.
I did not hear that. Oh, you're killing me. That's two things. Okay. I'm never going to bed tonight. I've got so I'm going to have to watch the footage and I got to do that. So I'm going to call in sick to work tomorrow.
All right. Here's a great question. Here's a great question for the chat room. Okay.
Oh, I see.
What was the Van Halen? What was the Van Halen song on Jeopardy last night for the $1,000 answer? Anybody know that one?
In the chat? I don't have a TV. I don't have a TV. So, although I do, Greg Renoff and I do follow each other on.
Yeah,
X.
you should know that one then.
So I do know.
You'll know that one, right. And that was a great one. That was a $1,000 question, and the woman went, "I know that piece of cake," and she nailed it. I think the clue was this Van Halen song also makes a sound with a volcano. Something like that. Right?
On fire?
Pretty close.
Was that on fire in Fresno?
I didn't explain the question correctly, but anybody answer in the chat?
In the chat. I was surprised. Well, maybe you're going to mention this. And again, I don't have a TV, so I don't watch Jeopardy.
I understand, sure.
But it looks like they have a Van Halen category now.
They did. It was a Van Halen category. It was last night.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Right. The whole Van Halen category. And then last week, I think, they showed a picture of Wolfgang during the 2004 tour, I believe, with Eddie. And they said, who was that young kid standing next to Eddie Van Halen? And the woman got it right. She chimed right in. She's like, sure, that's Wolfgang Van Halen. So I was really impressed. I mean, it was a young photo of him, very young. And she nailed it. It was great. So Van Halen's been hitting the waves the last couple of weeks or a month on old Jeopardy. That's pretty neat. Celebrating all the history. That's great. It's a never-ending.
I see a couple. Yeah, I see a couple of eruptions on there. So, got that right.
There you go.
I would have to say, I'd have to say either I'll Wait or Hot for Teacher.
Right.
Okay.
Favorite song?
All right, there you
That's
go.
A good one.
Okay.
Hot for Teacher, yeah. That was the last time.
All right, we're still waiting for yours, Johnny.
Well, I mean, it's impossible to name one, but I'd have to. I would have to go back to like when I first got into them and what was happening. You know, what were the songs on those records? 5150, 0812 era, and I mean, yeah, you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm gonna have to say like When It's Love.
That's a great song.
No,
Here, I'll do this for you.
Great.
Great song, though,
because for me, MTV, I have the memory of folding papers for my paper route, to pay for my drums, the whole story.
Right.
And MTV would be on in the room, and When It's Love was the video that was always playing.
Okay.
So
exactly.
I thought you were saying,
that's cool.
Yeah. Or Why Can't This Be Love? I love all those songs. I love the Van Hagar era.
Yeah.
And Chris, I know you do too, because I saw a photo of you in that book wearing one of their shirts. So
the tie-dye. Yes, exactly. You know what? That picture, that was the Balance tour in '95, and that's my wife in the picture there with me. That was down at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Another great show, a great tour as well. You got to love that. The tie-dyed Van Halen. Oh, yeah. That screaming 90s all over the place.
95. Yeah, I remember that shirt.
That's great.
I remember. I didn't buy that one, but I do remember that one.
So Johnny and Ron, with Sammy and Michael going on tour here soon. It kicks off here, I think in the next 30 days, I believe, or 20 days. I'm not for sure, but
I think it's this summer.
Okay, it's just a summer tour.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they going to be sold out? I believe, in my opinion, that they're going to be sold out every single place they go, each and every time. Do you think they're going to turn one nights into two nights because it's selling out so quickly, or the crowd is just in awe? What do you guys think? Or are those days over with where people turn one night into two, or circle back around because they're going to be in, Venice or LA or Sacramento?
Aren't the tickets already started for that sale?
I believe so, Ron. Yes.
Oh, they've been for sale for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to sell right before Christmas. Mm-hmm.
I already have a ticket for it. Our friend Laz got me a ticket.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to be technical,
Cincinnati's-
if you want to get technical, it depends on the venue. It depends on how big the venue is.
Okay.
If you want to get that technical, it depends on the venue. It depends on the market. It depends on the city.
Right.
Like, believe it or not, you guys, and maybe you guys can't believe this, but Van Halen is actually much bigger where you guys are in Ohio than out here in California.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you attribute
I
that
didn't
to?
realize that.
Why?
Their fan base is bigger, is much bigger on the East Coast or Midwest than out here. It's like up here in the Bay Area. Sammy Hagar's from here, so he's big here. I mean, they would sell out. They would do multiple nights here and stuff. But I can tell you for a fact, they're much bigger in other parts of the country than here. Okay. So I would see them selling out more over there than certain places here, maybe. But again, if you want to get technical, it depends on the venue they're playing.
Right. Something like the Hollywood Bowl. I think that they're scheduled probably for 2 nights at the Hollywood Bowl. That would be a guaranteed sell out for 2 nights in a row, I would think. Because if Riverbend down here, that seats probably 26, maybe. Is that right, Chris? 25, part indoor, the rest is in the lawn. That's gonna be sold out in a heartbeat.
I think the pavilion part of that's already sold out.
Right. The Bengal Stadium can seat, I believe, with blocking off the back end of a concert, it'll seat 75,000. That includes the floor, because you're not going to sell the behind anymore because of security reasons. But I agree with you. But Wembley Stadium, something like that, Market Square Arena, I mean, it's going to be packed. I mean, everybody keeps saying, well, I don't know if they're going to come back.
Wembley Stadium? Are they playing Wembley? Wait a minute.
No, I just throwing that out there.
I was going to say.
From Live Aid, right?
When did they start the European leg of this tour?
Did you guys know that when Van Halen did play Wembley Stadium in '95, they opened for Bon Jovi?
Oh, did they?
Did you guys know that?
I didn't.
And that's the thing. Bon Jovi was way bigger over there than Van Halen was.
Yeah, so is David Hasselhoff, right?
German.
Well, that's German.
Right?
That's German.
That's right, German.
And he eats the hamburgers on the floor.
Right. So that is pretty funny you say that. I guess you're right. I guess it depends on all the venues that they're going to. But I am very surprised, though, Johnny, that it is bigger here in the Midwest than it is in California.
They're much bigger in the Midwest than they are in California, and I hate to say that, but it's true. It's the truth. I mean, I would go anywhere. I mean, I love them. Right here in Santa Cruz, California, I'm shocked if I see somebody in a Van Halen shirt. Shocked. Really? And every once in a while, I'll see somebody. Every once in a while, out here where I live in Santa Cruz, it's just not the scene here. It's just not.
Okay.
Jeez, that's
I know, it's shocking.
That blows my mind. It really is. Yeah. And you know what? When we started talking about, the book and everything in the 84 tour, that, we knew they played here 2 nights, Thursday and Friday night. But when you look at the other cities that they went to, very few places outside of New York and LA did they play 2 nights, but Cincinnati got 2 nights on that tour,
Right.
which is
Right.
just incredible. So it kind of backs up maybe a little bit what you're saying there,
Right.
Johnny.
Mm-hmm. I never thought about it. I mean, because Dayton, Ohio
Mhm.
is 45 minutes away, and they played in Dayton. And like Chris said, Louisville's only less than an hour if you're doing 75, and they played there. They played in West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, I believe, twice on that tour. So in a span of an hour and a half, Indianapolis, they were there, 5 major cities,
Yeah.
less than an hour, hour and 15 minutes, pedal to the metal, and boom, 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 boom. But I thought it would have been the same way over in California. I truly did. I thought, Anaheim, LA, Hollywood Bowl.
I was just there.
Yeah.
I was just in Anaheim.
I know.
I just drove past
Right.
there. Yeah.
Right.
It totally depends on the venue, and I mean, like, if you want to get really technical about it, it totally depends on the venue, and it depends on what other shows are happening around that time,
Correct.
and the location. You know,
They're going to be in Cuyahoga Falls also, Sammy and Mike.
Okay.
Nice.
Like
Right.
Cleveland. So
Right. I mean, that's a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
And LA and New York, they get inundated with so many concerts that I can only imagine trying to set up venues a year in advance to start putting thumbtacks in the spot of where you're going to go. And then you hear the venue say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've already got that booked with them," or "I'm already sorry, the Ice Capades is coming through." And then you got to sit there and move that. I mean, that would be just fascinating to be the guy or the girl behind the scenes putting that together for Hollywood Bowl. You go Dolly Parton, you got Green Day probably coming there this summer, and then you got Sammy and those guys coming, and Wolfgang's in the mix and that too. I mean, that would just be a fun summer run right there to put that all together.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the amount
there's
of
some
stress that
great
person
concerts
probably
coming through
goes
here.
through. I can only imagine.
Mhm.
And how many of them actually have to turn them down because other musicians came out like 3 or 4 days or a month earlier to announce putting it together, and then they got to tell a band, "Sorry, we're already booked that weekend," and you're going around, Hollywood Bowl to come back up to hit Santa Monica or play something there or what have you. I think it'd just be intriguing. I think it'd be fascinating to find the person that puts that all together for Sammy and Michael for this coming concert. Just who took the phone call? Yes, we got you here. Count us in.
it was
That'd be
Dave.
awesome. Right. But I think it's going to be a great summer for those guys. I really do. I mean, they're getting older.
yeah.
I'm getting older. My daughter is now 20. She's grown up with the story, so she has a chance this summer possibly to see them for the first time.
Yeah.
Is she going to do it with her friends? I don't know. I mean, she grew up with a different music genre than I did. And so I hope she does, because I don't want it to be like, "Oh, I wish I should have, could have." And Chris and I, and I'm sure Johnny and Ron, you guys have friends that say, "I'm not going to go to that concert." And then that was the last time they ever went on tour, or they broke up forever. They never got back together or switched out lead singers or a front man. And like, I guess I should have. And I hope the younger generation doesn't pass it up. Go out there. You don't have to buy the expensive seats. That's not what I'm saying. You can sit all the way up there in the nosebleeds for 50, 55. And in 40 years, when you're my age, no one's going to ask you exactly how much those tickets were or where you were sitting. It's just the experience of seeing Sammy and Michael and Wolfgang, part of a craze of the Hall of Fame. And it's just something captivating that these kids need to take and run with it so they can feel a part of what history is teaching us, as far as, like you were saying, Johnny, the guitar and that kind of stuff. Well, how many people passed up on seeing Eddie? I'll see him next time. And the next time never came. Same with Elvis. I'll just see him next time.
Believe me, I personally have a big regret for not going to see somebody, and I can't imagine if you did it multiple times.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
100%.
I mean, I had to. And the reason I didn't go is I was working over. But another idol of mine was Dimebag from Pantera,
Okay.
and I lived in Springfield. And I had tickets to the Alarosa the night he was killed. My buddy went. I didn't go.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, jeez.
Same thing happened with me,
That,
Ron, with Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell came to Indianapolis some years ago, and that was his first night to open up on the tour. He played at White River State Park in Indianapolis. And I told my daughter about 3 days beforehand, we're going to go. She said, terrific, we're going. And they called for a lightning storm that night, right as I was getting ready to buy the tickets the next day. And I was like, the concert's probably going to be canceled. No pun intended, but White River State Park and lightning and water. And then up in Detroit, you know the rest of the story that happened the next night. And that's my one regret that I didn't get to see him. I did.
I mean, you know, you wouldn't know it from all the guitars around here, but I'm a firearms instructor, self-defense trainer, have been for years. And the guy I was supposed to go with, he ended up going. So he called me the minute the shooting happened. He called me. He ran outside and called me. And he's like, I can't guarantee it, but my personality with my instincts would have kicked in. As soon as I saw the gun, I'd have tried to take the guy down because where he stood is where we were planning to stand. Like, you know, from here, it was in a bar. So I'd have been literally about 8 feet away from Dime watching him play, which is where that guy ran up. So, and the guy's name is Gary. Gary said, he goes, Ron, I know if you were here, you'd have jumped up and tackled that guy or something. I said, damn right I would. I said, what'd you do? He said, I got the hell out of there. I said, well, that's what he does.
That's right.
Just my mindset. Jeez. You know, I see a woman in the parking lot getting attacked. I step in.
Right.
100%.
You know, I was at a 7-Eleven. We were playing New Year's Eve, 1987 to 88. My wife had went to the show. She was pregnant. Our son was born in April. So before midnight, I took her home. On the way back, I stopped at a 7-Eleven to get a big gulp. And I pull up, and I see this guy and this girl in the car next to me, and they're arguing. And he's just screaming and raising his hand, but he didn't touch her. And I went in the store, and the guy at the counter I knew, we talked for a minute or so. I walk outside just in time to see her face smash against the window where he just took her and shoved it. I jumped over the hood of my car, opened his door. He had his back to me, grabbed him by the back of the hair and the shirt, pulled him out this way. He had no idea. He couldn't see me because he was still, you know, and I regret doing it, but the corner of the roof of the car, let's just say his nose met that about 5 or 6 times. I turn him around to hit him, his eyes rolled back and let him go, and he just fell. Then Jim comes out from behind the counter and goes, Ron, get out here. I don't see nothing. The cops are on their way. Then the bad part, by the time I walked around my car, she comes outside and starts hitting me for hitting him.
Oh, jeez.
And that's just my mindset, my personality. So I know I could say almost 100%. If I'd have been there, I'd have done something to try to prevent that.
Well, I just hope the listeners out there, just if they get a chance this summer, even if they're sold out, to try to go see them. I mean, just be there to witness, watch the growth of Wolfie and watch him prosper and move up the ranks. And it's going to be amazing, you know, because watching him and where Chris and I and you guys were back in '84 and watching Eddie, you know, one's going to stop here soon, probably, 5-6 years. And Wolfie's going to keep going and going and going and going and going and going. And he's going to carry the torch. I mean, the torch is never going to be put out unless somebody says, okay, that's the end of it. You have so many tribute bands out there. I've never caught wind of a single one of them, but they're keeping the message alive, the energy alive, the band, the name, the label, the backstories, the energy, the pizzazz, the parachute pants, the patched up jeans, the MTV, and that's what people want to be a part of. They don't, they talk about experience today in 2024, how people want to feel experienced. I mean, it's almost like Jimi Hendrix's song is really coming to life today because people have to feel constantly stimulated all the time. Well, go to a Van Halen concert, and you were. I mean, you go and watch Sammy and Michael and those guys this summer, you're going to be stimulated. You really are. You're going to recognize almost all the songs. You're going to be able to sing right along with them, have a couple brewskis, and go there with your buddies and celebrate the past successes, but then celebrate today's successes as well. It's not shut down. It just isn't. And that's the power of music. And one torch might be a little bit distinguished, but it's going to be raised up again and keep going and keep going. It's just when we all no longer do these things and we no longer write or talk about Van Halen, then it's over with. But we're still talking about it. They had the Eddie Van Halen con out there, Johnny, and that's alive and well, right? I mean, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to celebrate that every day,
Oh, it's I mean, I see it. I run a group called Exclusively Van Halen. I mean, that's what the show's called. But I run a Facebook group. I don't know if you guys are in there. If not, I'll invite you guys in there. Yeah, I mean, every day people are in there celebrating this band, and like I said, they fight back and forth about which singer they like or whatever. But that'll never. And a lot of people are tired of that. They're like, not again. But the thing is, it's never going to stop. And that's a good thing because that's going to keep the band out there.
Right. Yeah.
They're always
100%.
They'll always be talked about. Always.
Mm-hmm. The impact Eddie had, everybody wanted that guitar, wanted that guitar, right?
Correct.
Well, I was playing back then. We were on Sin City Records, and my first take from Eddie is I had my grandmother, my Nonna, I'm Italian. I had her take a pair of my jeans with a bunch of leather patches and sew them on like.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
was part of my stage gear.
Nice.
Right.
I had the same thing. I wore those too. Yeah. From the Jump video.
Did my Nonna
exactly. That's it.
Maybe she did.
A Singer sewing machine from like 1907 is what she used to make.
Had the foot pedal to operate it and everything to get the stitch going.
But my grandfather back in the day can put a motor on it for her.
Oh.
It did have the pedal, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she went and bought a bunch of different color leather, thin leather, and just did the whole front of the pants in them for me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right.
Then she made a set of for our singer. He had it was like a velour, purple plum, black cherry. It was a big jacket. She had him make it into, he had her make it into tails, like a tuxedo with tails. That's what he wore with leather pants. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. You had the stage presence, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
But
was anybody wearing spandex or anything like that?
Yeah, that was a couple years later. I didn't. I wore. By that time, I switched to black leather pants.
Okay.
But our singer wore spandex. I think he slept in it, if you ask me. But yeah, that was my take on Eddie at first. The guitar was neat, but I wanted the pants.
Right.
The pants had that people noticed those on stage.
Absolutely, they do. And then you had a pair of the red Nikes or the white Nikes with the stripe.
I had white with the
red stripe or the white ones with the
red. Then I bought the very first set of Air Jordans when they first came out that are now astronomically priced. And I had it for 3 days and someone stole them off my front porch.
Oh, man. Pork pirates. Pork pirates.
Oh, gosh.
It's funny.
That's great.
Is how much memorabilia everybody has saved all these years. And Johnny, you got a lot of memorabilia, and so do you, Ron. And for all the young listeners out there that go to all these concerts, they don't get they don't get the ticket stubs anymore. They don't get the tour guides.
No, it's flash your phone and
right. And if there's any chance to all the listeners out there that you can get either a ticket or you have to get a printed out scan with the QR code, tell them you want a ticket. So I've heard some venues out there still give like an antique type looking ticket. And that would be really cool today to say, I got a ticket. It's kind of like a snow skier going down the Black Diamond. He's got his CB jacket on. He's got all those ski lifts proving that how good he is or how good she is. And if they can keep those ticket stubs, man, that's really sharp now. I mean, it really is. Instead of just to scan the phone and blah, 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 kind of lame-o, if you ask me. There's nothing special because it's not tangible unless you print it out.
Well, it's great going through it now.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I said.
It's great. Yeah.
I'm 4 years older than my wife, so I started dating her right before she turned 17, which was illegal actually. Her dad's a preacher, so that didn't go over too well either. But she had a photo album full of ticket stub, every concert we went to, every movie we went to. We found it the other day. It was just a good, we've been married going on 37 years now. So
don't throw it away.
That's awesome.
Don't throw it away.
No, we can't. It was just funny going through it,
And that's hilarious. Yeah, going through it and seeing the prices and everything. Like you said, Johnny, what your ticket was it $17.50 your first one? And then ours was $12.50. And then you just see them going up incrementally, throughout. But that's the cool part to go back and see the prices.
Nowadays, you can't afford the printed ticket. It's too expensive.
It's
right, because of the
movies for $1.75 and $2.50.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, going to the matinee for half price.
Right. They don't do any of that stuff. They just don't. I mean, but you know what? Folks are going to say the same thing in 40 years as we're saying right now in another 40 years when they talk about concerts and growing up and seeing these folks play. Been there, I've done that, and people are going to say, well, prove it to me, okay? And they're going to have to scroll back on Facebook, and they're going to have to find that day right there, and they're going to say, see, John and Ron, back in 2025, I tagged myself at Santa Cruz, and I was right around the corner, and I watched Van Halen. There I am. So, yeah, there's going to be a way that they're going to say they could prove it through AI or something like that, and it's just really cool now that you can bring your cameras in, you can take pictures. Back then you could not take any pictures. You couldn't take recording devices.
Couldn't take cameras in, right?
Right. There was a guy in my neighborhood that was a great, great athlete, and his brother was a complete nerd when it came to technology, and they faked him being handicapped that they could stow. They would stow recording devices underneath this wheelchair that he would try to record bootleg tapes at the Gardens or Riverfront College. It never worked. It always sounded awful. And they were way older than me. Right.
I've heard those bootlegs. I think I have that show.
You probably did.
I have a huge box full of Van Halen cassettes, live bootlegs and stuff.
I guarantee it.
I've heard them all.
Yeah, I guarantee it. That's what it is. Everybody was scared of him, but he was the nicest guy. He was always older than us, smoking Marlboro Reds. He was, but they were really cool guys. But it never worked. It never sounded anything like anything. Oh, I got the Kinks. Didn't sound like anything like the Kinks. But
sounds like the Stinks.
That's right.
The Stinks.
I saw the Injustice for All tour, and I think that was only like $21 or $24 or something like that.
Oh, geez.
That was by far the loudest show I'd ever been to.
Where were you sitting, though?
I was about halfway. It was Pittsburgh Civic Arena. I was on the floor about halfway back of the whole floor. Would have been probably maybe 25 rows back or something.
Wow.
But loud, oh my God, was that loud.
Did Van Halen ever play in Three River Stadium up there in Pennsylvania that you know of?
Not that I know of.
No. Mm-hmm. That wasn't really big playing back in the baseball fields or NFL stadiums too much in the 80s, unless it was a big joint excursion.
Monsters of Rock.
Monsters
of Rock 88.
88, okay.
That was really, they mostly played arenas.
Right.
All those years.
Right.
I know now it was Heinz Stadium, but now it's Accushore for whatever reason. But they had like Kenny Chesney, a bunch of stuff like that's been there.
Mm-hmm. I think
but you got to keep them inside though. That's where you get the loudness and all the acoustics and everything. Having them in the inside venues, the Coliseums and everything, and that was the beauty about the Gardens because it was so compact and the way it was. I mean, you were straight up on the sides, but gosh, it was so loud that night in '84. And, we've got Riverfront Coliseum, same way, but that's a little bit bigger. But that Gardens was so compact and the way everything echoed and how loud it was. I mean, it was bouncing off, everything in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I saw in Pittsburgh that surprised me was loud was Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
Really?
You wouldn't think it'd been that loud, but they were. It was the Garage Tour. Neil Young, and then after that was Deep Purple. There, so that was Perfect Strangers.
Oh wow!
Perfect.
Okay,
that was 1982, somewhere around there, 83, right?
It might have been 85.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised at how loud Neil Young was. I mean, that was. You wouldn't think so. I mean, I figure it's because he was playing an acoustic. They cranked it up, but it just inside the Civic Arena, man, it was like he started hitting those, the chords. It was like, damn.
Oh
man.
That'll wipe you clean
Just weren't
right there,
expecting
buddy. Yeah, really.
That one, I was off to the left of the stage on for that one.
Right. You weren't row 10 right in front of the whole Panther, were you?
Now, Deep Purple was on the floor. I was about 15th row for Deep Purple.
That's loud.
Yeah, but what was neat was Smoke on the Water was the very last thing they played, and all this purple smoke just rolled right from the drum set over the stage on the floor, and we were standing by this time, and the smoke was up to your nose. Just all purple smoke. It was like crazy.
Nobody would stop, drop, and roll on that one, would they? No way.
Was everybody leaving during that one?
No.
Because a lot of times I've heard from so many fans, like if Van Halen closed with Jump, they would actually leave during the song so they could get out of the venue because they'd heard the song so many times. You guys ever hear stories like that?
Yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
So does that go back to the whole argument and everything, did Jump define Van Halen? No, I mean, that was the early stuff. I'm a huge Nirvana fan and people come up and say, oh, Smells Like Teen Spirit is, the greatest song. No, did you go back and listen to Bleach and all those albums and stuff like that? So yeah, I can understand where you're coming from on that, Johnny.
Well, I always stayed. I mean, I even stayed until they were done. A lot of, there was a couple shows I would go down to the front. You look for guitar picks or some of the texts like I know now. And I'd be like, hey, like trying to get their attention and stuff,
Right. Well, we have quite a few guitar picks from Eddie Van Halen from that night. We have a picture. We have a part of the stadium, the arena from that night with Michael Anthony. So, Michael Anthony, thank you if you're listening to this or if you get wind of that. You were playing so loud that one of the guys stood on top of the seat, and you were probably 7 or 8 feet away from him because he snuck closer, and he was right next to him, and he cracked the wooden seat in half, and he took the wooden seat home.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. That is the coolest thing.
I mean, everybody that night was over the top awesome. I mean, it really was. I mean, to experience that, I took my daughter to her first concert in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium, and I felt the same way she did with her friends as I did with my friends. And she was seeing the number one top singer at the time, female vocalist. This is probably about 10 years ago. And I just felt the same way. She was in awe. I was in awe. I was the chaperone and the dad, and she was the teenage kid. And I felt like Mr. Myers did back then that, yeah, I'll do it, and I'll watch her walk in one way, and my daughter walked out a completely different person, experiencing her concert for the first time. And it wasn't like watching paint dry either. The woman was up in the rafters, swinging on wires, coming through the floors. I mean, it was like our Van Halen concert to her. It was just nonstop. I mean, bang, 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 bang. I'm just glad she didn't get to see somebody just sit on a bar stool and strum an acoustic guitar for 2 hours. She would have been like, I'm never coming back to this. But
that's pretty much what the Neil Young show was.
Right. I mean, I'm sure it probably was. But my parents grew up with Neil Young, so they were used to that, and they were. But from what my parents told me, Neil Diamond or the Beach Boys, they were the next level compared to those guys that you were just talking about. That they had a stage presence. Neil Diamond could dance around a little bit and swing, change outfits, and do pretty good. The Beach Boys, my dad said, were awesome, just amazing growing up with them. So I'm happy that every generation gets that. And I hope everybody celebrates it. It's just interesting to me. Really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's every generation has their own thing. And I mean, don't be shocked. There are artists out there where they just sit there on a stool and people go crazy.
Right.
Exactly.
It totally depends on the artist and the vibe of the show.
Correct.
But never pass up the opportunity to actually go see live music, a live concert, and experience that, because there is nothing better. And just like you said, they're sitting on a bar stool, acoustic, awesome. But just the experience of live music, to me, there's nothing as powerful as actually sitting there and hearing somebody play and sing, and the power that comes out of that.
Well, with the Neil Young show, the way they did it, I mean, granted, he was sitting on a stool, but they had this, when you walked in, the curtain looked like a gigantic garage door with graffiti on it.
Okay.
Then when it dropped, they were inside a garage.
Oh, really?
The whole, and it was there was barrels and spare tires. It just looked like he's in a garage. And there was a phone.
Awesome.
There was a pole and a phone, and while they were playing, the phone would ring, and he'd pick it up, and they were like, "I'm not going to turn this shit down." He'd hang it back and go right back into the song. And they didn't even take an intermission. They stayed there and played for 3.5 hours.
Oh,
so he made up for it. Yeah, he made up for it. But yeah, I mean, I think he did every song he ever did, including all the.
That's
national. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was But again, my God, was that loud? You wouldn't think it would be, but it was.
Jeez.
But it was neat how
that's cool.
When the curtain dropped, it looked like they were just sitting in a 4-car garage with toolboxes and engine parts everywhere, and they were just like practicing.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Awesome. Two-man Taylor right there, huh? That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, pretty
That's
neat.
Cool.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. Special. I mean,
speaking of neat, jump. Are we gonna give one of these away?
Yes, give it away.
You guys want to give one of these away?
Let's do it.
Yep, give it away.
Let's
Find
do
out
it.
who it is. We'll have
In the
them
chat.
Johnny, have them message you, and then you and I will do it together, and I'll get it off to them. Okay.
In the chat, how do we do this? We got 53 eligible users, it says. Okay. What we do is we have them pick a number. There's a random number.
All right.
What should the top number be, Ron? I know this will sound crazy to you guys, but we have to keep upping the number.
750.
750?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. We start out with 0 to 100, 0 to 200, then 400, then 500. And then it's like sometimes they guess it within 10 seconds.
Oh, really?
We went to what? We went to 900 the other day, and it took like 45 minutes.
There we go. In the chat, pick a number between 0 and 750.
How much is the book, by the way? Like on Amazon or something?
The book is $19.84, John. I had to keep it 19, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the publisher said, "How much should we charge?" And I'm like, "Well, let's go with $19.84. That's easy, you know."
Pretty cool.
So I think it's important. I mean, it's a paperback version. This isn't, a hard copy with like War and Peace or anything like that. And I didn't want to be selfish, and I didn't want to be greedy. With me and all my buddies, Chris and Mike and them, we just want to get the message out to celebrate it. I mean,
somebody got it.
About,
What?
Somebody got it that quick.
Wow, man!
Nicholas, you're the winner.
Was it the guy with the no bozo avatar?
No, he's playing.
That.
He's playing a Strat.
Okay.
He's playing a Strat. See, already. See, we have to keep upping the numbers. That sounds weird.
That's quick.
Well, when he gives that blue Kramer away on the couch, it's going to have to be between 1 and 1 million or something.
Yeah.
Somebody's got insider trading information there, Johnny.
I know.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Nicholas Norway jump book.
That's not where he lives, is it? Norway?
No, that's his name. Well, I don't know. That's his username.
Well, hopefully we'll get it over there if he lives in Norway. That's not a problem. Okay. We'll get it over on that cargo ship, Ron. Okay.
So, Nicholas, you know what to do. Send me a message. Send me a message. You can text me 415-952-3263. Give me your info. I will get that over to Jim, and he will get you a book. Oh, he's in California.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Good.
Awesome.
Perfect. It'll be in the mail tomorrow, Johnny. Tell Nicholas, okay?
Nicholas.
That's awesome. Enjoy the book.
Well, have fun with that, Nicholas. We look forward to hearing what you have to say. And it's telling us your story about your Van Halen concert, Awesome.
Yeah,
email us,
exactly.
Get it and read it, and I'll share it with Johnny and Ron, and it'll be a nice little segue into maybe a segment down the road, Everybody loves that stuff, Tell us something unique about your experience. Maybe you saw the garage door go down and they're in the garage and they're Van Halen wearing. Or, you met the gorgeous girls with Aquanet, or you saw Michael Anthony swinging from the rafters with the wires. Whatever you remember. Share it. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, Nicholas, you must send me a message, okay? Message me, and I will get that to Jim. Let's see. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it was awesome.
You think we're good? Yeah. I know it's later where you guys are. I mean, for me, it's still light out. But okay.
Yeah. Here, all the chickens already went to bed. Okay, Johnny. Okay. The chickens are in the coop for the night. Yeah. That's right. So
you guys. So Jim
yes,
and Chris, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much for having us. This has been great.
This is awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate
and
that.
Is there an Amazon link to this?
Yes, it's just jump. Type in jump to Amazon, Van Halen, and bingo. It's a piece of cake.
Yep.
That's probably as easy as I can explain it. But if you want to put the text up there, that'd be great. That's real easy.
There it is.
Jump Van Halen on Amazon, book, and
got it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to order one. I want to read that.
that's great, Ron. Perfect.
There you go, you guys. There's the link right there.
Right.
Awesome,
Excellent.
So,
Thank you, Johnny.
Click on that link. Get the
Yes.
book. Nicholas has a copy.
Nicholas. That's right.
There you go. There's the link, you guys.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
We can't thank you enough for having us on and
Awesome,
letting us
man.
talk about it. Yeah, it really is.
Oh,
Really.
dude, you'll have to come back.
And I love Johnny
You'd love to.
and listen to you, Ron. You shared stuff that we didn't know, and
Mm-hmm.
that's hard to do with Chris. Chris knows a lot. He's an expert at this. In my
Really?
opinion,
I wouldn't say an expert.
I said in my
In your opinion.
In my opinion.
Okay.
And when I hear Chris say I didn't know that, it's very
Mhm.
rewarding because we've experienced a lot, and he's been to so many concerts, and he's very educated on it. So I like it when we learn something that we never knew, and you grow that way, you know.
That's your room, Chris, right?
No, this is my basement. This is my man cave back here.
Okay, but those are your posters.
Oh,
those are
those
your
are my
posters.
posters. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
so you like Van Halen and Nirvana.
Oh, I love Van Halen.
There we go.
Nirvana. I'm trying to think what else I mean. Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam. Yeah, I got them all over the place.
Right on. Just to see
That
the
is-
Nirvana
that-
and the Van Halen together, that tells me that's awesome, man. Right
Love it.
on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm a lover of music and just those are my favorite bands back there, and get to come down there and see them. At least once a day. It's great, especially the poster. Yeah, this one right here. I love that one. Eddie pointing in the band and everything like that. It's awesome. That was the centerpiece.
Yep. Cool.
Awesome. Just awesome.
All right. So don't hang up, you guys. We'll
Okay.
say goodbye off the air really quickly. You guys, thank you for watching. You guys, this is exclusively Van Halen. Tuesdays, we talk all things Van Halen. Smash that thumbs up. We got 56 thumbs ups right now. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 12K YouTube subscribers. We're getting closer. And don't forget, NAMM show coverage. You guys can check out hours and hours and hours of video on my channel here from this last week. But I think maybe coming up later this week, or definitely by Friday, we'll be talking about the NAMM show and all our adventures, the stuff we saw, all the cool stuff. So, yeah. All right. All right, you guys. Thank you for watching. And
Thank you,
we'll see
everybody.
you-
Yeah. Thank everybody for watching. Appreciate y'all.
We'll see you next time. You guys might remember this guy right here. All right, this is Johnny Bean TV. Good night. Can I get that? real quick?
This is Kurt Jeffries from Lost Week of Van Halen, and you're listening to Johnny Bean Radio. Yeah, radio. Whatever. My mind's.
Do you guys remember Kurt Jeffries?
I remember that lost weekend with Van Halen. Oh my gosh.
He
how
won the
funny.
contest.
So
All
funny.
you guys, although Chris, it sounds like you had like something close, but that was the guy. He got to go on stage with Van Halen. He got to spend a few days backstage with them.
Right.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's incredible. Too
That is
funny.
Awesome.
All right.
Didn't he just have like surgery a couple of weeks prior to that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he might be watching this. He might say
I
something.
lost you.
All right, you guys. Oh yeah. We'll see you guys later. Johnny Bean TV. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Chris Kelly. That way. Chris Kelly.
Oh, you're doing that one?
Good night.